with Joe Carter, Chip Kerry. Very happy Mother's Day Sunday
Mother's
to you.
Day.
Joe, let's see if the Cubs batsmen can make it a happy Mother's Day, because they haven't had a very good time on this road trip, have they?
Well, they've had a terrible time right now, and it's really because they're going out there, they're hitting the pitcher's pitch, and you see the batting average only 246, runs per game 3.20. The pitching staff has done a great job, but it's all about hitting. You got to have hitting to win the ball games.
And really the biggest problem the Cubs have had on this road trip, which is today its 7th game, they've hit to 11 double plays already, and that kills a rally very quickly.
Well, when you go out there and get guys on base, what's happened, they're hitting the pitcher's pitch, and when you do that, they roll over, ground ball, 6-4-3, 5-4-3. It's almost been like the summer of 5 to 4-3.
And let's hope the Cubs can put together some sustained rallies today. Only 2 innings on this entire road trip where the Cubs have had more than 2 hits in an inning, and that's not going to get the job done. But Jeff Pentland, the Cub hitting coach, hopes he has some answers, does he not?
Well, I had a chance to talk with Jeff early in the day, and he goes out there and says, look, these guys have to go out there, they have to play, they have to be patient, and that's the one big key that the Cubs have not been doing. They have not been patient at the plate.
And the Cardinals getting ready for their longest road trip of the year. The Cubs, Joe, very eager to get back home. An off day tomorrow, then our longest homestand of the year. 3 with the Astros, 3 with the Diamondbacks, 3 with the Reds, then 3 more with Milwaukee.
Well, Chip, 12 games at home, and like you said, they're ready to get home off of this terrible road trip, but it could end on a pretty good note if you can go out there and win this last ball game. And this is a game they have to think about winning. They have to win, because this is all about mindset. You know, this is all in your mind. They didn't want to come in here in first place and get swept by the Cardinals, because that gives the Cardinals one up on the Cubbies.
So with that in mind, Don Baylor has shaken up the lineup just a little bit. A much different look today. Our Joy of Pepsi lineup has Eric Young leading off. Joe Girardi moves up to the number 2 spot in the batting order. Todd Hundley's been bothered by some back spasms, so he can't go. Good to see Bill Miller break out of it. He had a couple of base hits yesterday. Sammy Sosa is in right field. Rondell White in left. Matt Stairs hit a long home run here yesterday. He's at first base. Gary Matthews Jr. gets the start in center. Aki Ojeda at shortstop. And Kerry Wood will pitch and bat ninth. Placido Polanco is the Cardinals shortstop as we look at the rest of the St. Louis defense graphically. Langford, Edmonds, and Drew in the outfield. Pujols, Vina, Bobby Bonilla, the switch hitter, gets the start over at first. Mike Matheny is back behind the plate. And veteran right-hander Andy Benes, 2-2 this year, 6.89 ERA. Pretty good luck in his career against the Cubs. All-time Benes has beaten the Cubs 12 times and lost 8. Only the Phillies have had less success against Benes than the Cubs in Andy Benes' long major league career. He's a guy that went to Arizona, you recall, for their first 2 years, and then came back to St. Louis, where he signed through the year 2002, and he has pitched very well wearing that Cardinal uniform. He, of course, a native of Evansville, Indiana.
Well, one thing about Andy Benes, a power pitcher, throws in the low 90s. But one thing about him, he gives up a lot of home runs, Chip. But you have to be patient, because he can't run the count up there, and that's why he gives up a lot of home runs. You give a pitcher a chance to make some mistakes, then you got him. But when you go up there and swing at the first or second pitch, you're hitting his pitch and doing him a favor. So if the Cubs can go up there, and we talk about preaching patience, if they can go up there, take some pitches, let him get behind, and then the count is in their favor.
Well, let's see if Eric Young can get the Cubs off on a good start here. EY has hammered Benes lifetime, a 400 hitter lifetime against the Cardinal right-hander. Eric, overall this season, 282 with 3 home runs and 13 batted in. This is a very, very big game for the Cubs. And we're underway on Mother's Day Sunday. A high strike, says Tim Sheeta, the home plate umpire. 68 degrees in St. Louis. Very cool Mother's Day Sunday. And we'll be begging for this weather in June when we're back here to play the Cardinals in a 4-game set. It'll be hot and muggy Midwestern weather then.
Well, it's cooled off, and hopefully this will cool off the hot-hitting Cardinals.
They have ambushed everybody. They swept the Pirates. They've won the first 2 of this series against the Cubs. And this is a ball club that's still without Mark McGwire. But boy, if you saw him taking batting practice today.
I thought maybe we were in Houston.
Well, he looked unbelievable. 2-1 to Young. Broken bat, hot shot to short. 1 up, 1 down. Eric's left with the bat handle. The rest will be some kindling. One away in the top of the first.
Well, EY, I mean, he got pretty good wood on it, but it was the wrong half of the wood as it left half of it in his hand. Right to your favorite name in all of baseball, Placido Polanco.
How can you not like saying that name? Just rolls off the lips, doesn't it?
I wonder if he can sing a little bit.
We'll have to find out. Joe Girardi batting in the number 2 spot as Tony La Russa has guided the Cardinals to a 6-game win streak at 20-15. This is going to be a great race all summer long. And the Cubs are catching the Cardinals playing about as well as they can possibly play. And the Cardinals are catching the Cubs at their offensive nadir. That ball driven sharply to left. Langford on the run, still going back. And that ball is high off the wall. Joe Girardi just missed a home run.
Oh, how close can you get? Joe Girardi moved up in the number 2 spot, looking for his first home run here in the young season 2001. He came as close as you can get. We said Andy Bennis has a time with the home runs. They're giving them up. Here you see fastball right down the middle. And Joe Girardi hits it, extension. And this is about 372, but not, right
the yellow
at the
line.
top of the yellow line. But you know what? The Cubs don't need home runs right now. Home runs are really like rally killers. Put together some first and third actions, 4 or 5 hits in a row, and that's what they have not been doing.
Well, in the last 3+ games covering 30 innings, the Cubs have scored a grand total of 5 runs. 4 of those runs came with a solo home run.
Exactly.
So there's not been a sustained attack at all.
And talking with Eric Young earlier today, it was like, look, get a guy on first base, go first and third, put together 4 or 5 of those, then you've got a big rally. All of a sudden the bat starts to loosen up a little bit.
One ball, 1 strike to St. Louis native Bill Miller, who had a couple of hits yesterday. Boy, it was good to see him break out. In fact, the last time the Cubs, Joe, had an inning where they scored more than 3 runs or 3 runs in an inning was that Dodger game where we ambushed LA 20-1. That was May 5th, 8 days ago.
And before then, it was probably a while before that 20-1 ball game against the Dodgers. So they have not sustained any big innings. And with this ball club, there you see Jeff Pentland with the hitters that they have, with Miller and Sosa. And teams are not, you can't fault Sammy Sosa because teams are not going to pitch to Sammy.
They're not going to let him beat it.
No, I mean, he's hovering around the 250, 260 mark all year long. He's got the home runs, a lot of them solo shots because they're not going to pitch to him.
Miller smokes that ball to right center field. That's going to score Girardi. They had him played way around the other way. Miller's going to turn on the afterburners. He's going to try for 3. Here comes the relay. Ball dropped by Vina. A double, a triple, and the Cubs lead by 1.
Well, this is what you need right here. Forget about the home run. Find the gaps. And we said it all along. Jim Edmonds plays one of the shallowest center fielders of anybody in baseball. That's what you see on the highlights. He's making other great plays here. But Andy Bennis, what does he do? He elevates the fastball once again. And Bill Miller jumps on it and slaps it. Watch out, look how shallow. I mean, this ball is not really hit that far, but Jim Edmonds playing so shallow. And now Bill Miller goes from home to third. Hey, we're talking about a rally here, Chip.
1-0 Cubs for Sammy Sosa. Sosa 9 for 41 against Andy Bennis. Boy, this game, it's funny how things tend to even out. As well as Kerry Wood has pitched, the Cubs are 3 and 4 when he starts. They've given him very little with which to work. He's got a first inning run here this afternoon. Be nice to add 3 or 4 more here against Andy Bennis. Breaking ball in for a strike to even up the count.
You know, Chip, a lot of times on the offense, when you have a guy like Kerry Wood on the mound, the offense says, hey, we got a great pitcher, and you tend to want to sit back and watch him pitch because you get mesmerized by how good he is, and you don't go out there and put any runs up. Kevin Brown has the same problem in L.A. I mean, his last 2 starts, 1-0. He hasn't gotten any kind of run support. He's had to hold the opposition down. pitched a great ball game last night, and finally it ended up winning on a Sheffield home run in the 9th, 1-0.
Well, you have to win some of those games sometimes as a pitcher, but not every time.
Yeah, not every time now. You know, hey guys, it'd be nice if you score about 4 or 5 runs here early.
2-1 pitch to Sosa. Venice misses away. 3 balls and a strike. Rondell White is waiting on deck.
The Rock.
First base open for Sosa. So you figure, Sammy, he's going to pitch you away here.
Well, but that's been Sammy's strength because he's gotten used. He's made adjustments as to how they're pitching him. Going away. Tremendous power to right field.
Missed away. First walk by Venice. They're at the corners. Cardinals hoping the Cubs hit into a double play here. Maybe Rondell can hit a line drive someplace.
Well, it's a little bit tougher to hit it into double plays today, I think, because Andy Bennis doesn't have a sinker. Those are straight fastball, the 4-seam fastball, and he gets it up in the zone. Very tough to get ground balls when you're always up in the zone.
Bennis in his day was one of the game's hard-throwing right-handed pitchers with the Padres. Then with Seattle briefly. Arizona, now the Cardinals. Rondell White, man at the corners, takes a belt high strike. Rondell just 3 RBIs on the road trip. And a golden opportunity for the Cubs to put a 2 or more on the scoreboard here early.
Well, they got first and third with less than 2 outs. Keep the merry-go-round going.
Right now, the Cub hitters aren't offering it that breaking pitch outside. That's a good sign. Make Venice work. The race in the Central down to a half-game lead by the Cubs over the Cardinals. Right past it. 1-2. Houston 2 games back along with Milwaukee. Reds 3.5 back. The Pirates are 7.5 games back. Pittsburgh, though, pitching with a very banged-up rotation. They did get Jason Schmidt back, however, and that'll be good news for them.
And where does he go? He goes out of his first game. Shuts down the Brewers 3-0.
1-2 to White. Swung the bad ball up and in. Missed opportunity here. 2 outs now for Matt Stairs.
Well, Andy Bennis up in the zone most of the afternoon here early. He gets Rondell on a pitch up and in, and this is a great pitch in a great spot right here. You see it ties up. Rondell keeps it in on his hands, not able to extend them, but more importantly, up in the zone.
Well, Don Baylor has said, look, Matt Stairs, you're getting first crack at first base now. He's going to give him about a week or so to unload. Hit a home run yesterday. That's a good sign. First and third, 2 outs now. Cubs leading by a run. In fairness to the players, I think that's a smart move by Don Baylor.
Well,
but in fairness to the manager, whoever has been in there has not been overly productive on a consistent basis.
You know, it's very tough when you come to the ballpark. You don't know whether you're going to play or not. If you know you're going to be there for a week, you can relax a little bit more. It seems like every at bat or your playing time hinges on every at bat that you have. You look at the way the law of physics, the law of baseball is, 7 out of 10 times you're going to fail. And if you do that, you're going to be a great ball player.
What if you fail 10 out of 10 times?
Then you're in the wrong profession.
1 ball, 1 strike. Sosa at first. Bill Miller over at third. He's driven in the first Cub run. Let's see if Matt Stairs can pick up Rondell here.
If you fail 10 out of 10 times, then I guess you become an announcer, huh?
You hope. The pitch. Took it off. And that just missed. Well, congratulations to A.J. Burnett of the Florida Marlins. How about that no-hitter last night? Like the Padres, all he did was walk 9 men. Look at that. Most walks in a 9-inning complete game no-hitter in over 100 years. Amazing.
I mean, you throw a no-hitter, but you almost get pulled 7 or 8 times because...
Well, he walked the guys that could hit him. That's smart.
That's smart pitching. You're exactly right. He was effectively wild.
He's the guy that's in all that body piercing, right?
If you say so, Chip.
That's what I understand.
I mean,
some of our hitters ought to
you
get
get a lot of
pierced.
information.
Hey,
You got the inside scoop.
whatever works. 3 balls and a strike. And Stairs is aboard. Bases are loaded for Gary Matthews Jr.
Batting 7, number 19.
That was a great at bat by Matt Stairs as he was able to work the count, got to a hitter's count, but did not offer at the slider inside and the changeup for ball 4. So the Cubs are doing what they need to do, making Andy Bennett throw a lot of pitches. Now, if we can just get that one mistake.
Make these guys pay. 2 hits, 2 walks in the top of the first. Cubs leading by a run in St. Louis. Little bouncer, might be trouble. Pena in, flips with a glove, not in time, and a run is in. Infield hit, 2-0 Cubs.
Well, it's not how you hit him, but where you hit him. And right now, the Cubs caught a break there as Gary Matthews. This would have been a great left-handed push bunt right here. But a swinging bunt over the outstretched arms of Andy Bennett. And Fernando Vina can't make the play in time. You see he beats the ball into the ground. Taking advantage, and Vina trying to do the little flip. Not in time. Bases still loaded. Cubs got 2 runs. Let's keep it going.
Yeah. 3rd hit of the inning. They're still loaded for Augie Ojeda. And Gary Matthews' speed paid off on that play. Vina did just about everything he could have. But the ball just trickled out of his glove. That allowed Miller to score. And now Augie, with the bases full, sends a high fly ball to center field. It's going to be caught. Long inning for Andy Bennett in the first, and the Cubs pick up a pair. 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, 3 left. Here comes Kerry Wood with a lead. Cubs get a pair in the first. Here come the Cardinals against Kerry Wood, Fernando Vina, Placido Polanco, and Jim Edmonds, the top 3. Albert Pujols, folks, has had an amazing series. He's at third base. J.D. Drew hit a home run yesterday. Bobby Bonilla gets the start over at first. Ray Langford in left. Mike Matheny behind the plate. And Andy Bennett pitches and bats ninth. The Cubs, joy of Pepsi defense. Miller, Ojeda, Young, and Stairs around the horn. White, Matthews, and Sosa in the outfield. Joe Girardi behind the plate. And Kerry Wood looks to jump back into the win column. You're looking at the best 1-3 pitcher in baseball. Wood with 65 strikeouts in 41 innings of work. And last time out against Milwaukee, 2 wild pitches and a hanging slider cost him the win.
Well, it did, and it was a wild pitch with Jeffrey Hammond still in second base that he was able to score all the way from first base on that steal. The one thing about Kerry Wood, tremendous fastball, great breaking ball, but he needs to pick his spots when he's using them. He got hurt with a 3-run homer from Richie Sexton, which he had been really manhandling all evening, and threw him a 3-2 breaking ball that he just crushed. So if Kerry picks his spot, stays with his fastball, he'll be fine.
Vina jumps on it, drives it to right. Sammy late break, but he makes a fine running catch. And Vina's retired for out number 1. This is Kerry Wood's 8th start of the year. In his 7 previous starts, the Cubs have scored a grand total of 15 runs while he's been in the game.
And boy, it's tough to pitch when you don't get any kind of support. But right now, the Cubs are 2 runs in the first, and Sammy with a great running catch as Vina got a hold of that high fastball. He's one of the few leadoff hitters, small hitters who can get on top of a Kerry Woods fastball.
Placido Polanco at 356, no homers, 5 driven in. He's never faced Wood in the major leagues. Strike called over the inside corner. Phillies continue to play very good baseball, but they suffered a big loss last night. Big hitting catcher Mike Lieberthal sprained his knee. They had to carry him off the field. The Phillies with the best record in the National League at 22-13. That might drop a little bit today. They get to face Randy Johnson.
Well, you know what? They go out and they beat Kurt Schilling But you go back to yesterday, and Jenny Drew with the base hit, but Slamming Sammy says, I got an arm too. And those who are late do not get in.
Way upstairs to Polanco. That was Sammy's best throw in a couple of years. It had Edmonds by plenty. And the great block at the plate by Joe Girardi kept the game close. Cardinals broke it open late in the 9th inning. A couple of solo home runs. 2-2. Wood has struck out 10 or more men in 4 starts this year. In his one major league decision against the Cardinals, he beat them. Mets have lost 5 in a row. Giants clobbered them 10-3 yesterday. Rich Aurelia leads the National League in hitting for San Francisco at .389. Boy, he's a good player.
Well, a 4-hit performance yesterday.
Full count to Polanco. John Lieber kept the Cubs in the ballgame.
And we said that time and time again.
Hot shot toward Young at second. Lays patty cake and throws him out. 2 up, 2 down in the bottom of the first. Here's Jim Edmonds.
Yeah, the one thing when the offense is struggling, you won't hear the pitchers complain, and that's a good thing because they realize, look, this is a team. Pitchers have to pick up the offense have to pick up the pitchers, and right now the pitchers are picking up the offense, and they feel that it's just a matter of time before these guys break out. So you keep a positive atmosphere in the clubhouse, not start to point fingers, but go out there and say, hey, look, hitters aren't hitting now, so that means we got to go out there and keep the opposition down, only give up no runs or 1 or 2 runs.
Yeah, the last couple of years, the pitchers, you didn't hear the hitters complaining, hey, you can't stop the other guys from scoring. So you're right, it is a team effort. 1 strike to Edmonds. Who's had a very productive series, 4 hits and 8 drives. He's had a great homestand for the Cardinals, too.
One of the smart hitters in all of baseball. Watched a lot of film, studies the pitcher. He looks for little things about if the pitcher tips off a few pitches. You know, and a lot of pitchers will have tendencies that they will go through, and the good hitters, they're able to pick those tendencies up.
One pitch. Crowd slowly starting to fill cavernous Busch Stadium. It's Cardinal Cap Day today on Mother's Day Sunday.
Kind of a quiet day here right now.
They're bummed out. Cubs are thumping them 2-0. We're only in the first. Ball 3 to Edmonds. You know the guy on deck can hit anybody's fastball. Albert Pujols. He took Kyle Farnsworth into the second deck here yesterday. (3-1). 3 balls, 2 strikes. That was a funny swing by Edmonds.
Well, he can have some of the funniest swings in baseball here. Right here is like he gets tied up inside and he spins around. And the funny thing about Jim Edmonds, he doesn't stride. What he does, he turns his right foot in, and that kind of kick starts everything. And that time it just got his cleat spun out. He got him caught up a little bit. And Kerry Wood throwing 95, 96. He'll do that to you.
3-2 pitch. Took a little off, and Edmonds couldn't stop himself. Wood has his first strikeout. Edmonds twisting and turning, and Kerry Wood has a 2-0 lead.
Hi, babe. I just wanted to wish you happy Mother's Day. It's a special day for you, and I'll be home tonight to celebrate with you.
Very nice sentiment from Joe Girardi, his lovely wife Kim and daughter Serena watching back in Chicago. And Kerry Wood jumps on the first Andy Bennett's pitch, pops it up to short. Ron Santo was kidding us, saying, hey, gave Kerry a hitting tip before the game today. Worked out well, Ronnie. Nice job.
Well, that's just, whatever Ronnie tells you, do the opposite.
I think Ronnie's one booth over. He doesn't have the courage to look out and stare us down. 1 pitch, 1 out. here in the Cubs' second inning. Eric Young lined out to the shortstop his first time up. His bat's sawed in half by Andy Benes. 2-game swing in St. Louis today. Cubs win, we go home a game and a half up. Cardinals win, we head back home a half game out.
I like the first choice.
No doubt about that. But 2 may not be enough today. Nothing against Kerry Wood stuff. This Cardinal offense, Joe, is really, really tough. Very balanced. Edmonds, Pujols, Drew. Very nice left right combination. They can stack all the way through their batting order, and when they get McGuire back, that's even more thunder for them. This is a club that raised a lot of eyebrows in the offseason when they traded Fernando Tatis to Montreal for Steve Kline and Dustin Hermanson. Little did everybody know how good Albert Pujols was going to be. Young checks a swing. Benes late getting off the mound. He better hurry. Hey, smart play by Benes. Knew he couldn't get to the bag. He applied the tag.
Well, this is what the pitchers work on every day in spring training. They call it PFP, pitchers fielding practice. And Bobby Bonilla ranges far to his right to pick it off. And Andy Benes with a late start knew he was not going to get there in time, and very wisely tags Eric Young, because EY would have beaten him there.
That could have been a major league collision over there too, man. EY and Benes colliding near the first base bag.
Would have been bad for EY though.
Yeah, I know. Joe Girardi doubled with 1 out, scored on the Bill Miller triple. Cubs 2, Cardinals nothing. Let's hope it stays that way. There's nothing like beating these guys in St. Louis. We haven't done it in a while. We're 0 for our last 9 here.
You know what? That's, after a while, it gets in your head.
1 ball, 1 strike. Well, a lot of that has to do with the fact the Cardinals have had real good ball clubs here the last couple of years. Last year, of course, the division champions. And they want to get back. That one smoked towards center field. Edmonds gracefully glides out, and he makes the play. 1, 2, 3 and out of the Cubs in the second. Here comes Pujols, Drew, and Bonilla for the Cardinals. Oh, there's nothing like Mr. and Mrs. Fredbird.
Isn't that his mom?
I don't know.
Well, you know, think Mother's Day, son, daughter.
Well, I always thought that the brightly colored birds were male birds.
Well, so the first mistake came in. You thought.
As the crafty veteran, you're trying to teach me about the birds and the bees. Is that what this is leading to?
Exactly, Chip.
I got 3 kids. I'm doing okay, I think. Here's Pujols leading things off for the Cardinals in the second inning. 2-0. The Cubs have the lead on this Mother's Day Sunday. What do you think of this guy?
He's going to be a decent ball player.
Man, he hit.
You know, you look at what he has done, what he has accomplished. Like you say, they get rid of Fernando Tatis because they felt this young man could do the job, and he is doing that. And one of the guys you have to look at for this whole ball club is Mike Easler, the hitting coach. He has done a tremendous job.
Look at that. Wow. Rocket. Pulled a Kerry Wood fastball like that. I don't think I've seen that happen in a while.
Well, one thing, if you watch his batting stance and the way he stands to the plate, these guys and what Mike Easler does, watch this. He teaches them balance. Not too much of a stride, but quickness with their hands. And he gets some tremendous bat speed through the zone.
Base in left field. He's amazing. Tony La Russa told us at the start of the series that Pujols is only 21 years old, but he plays like he's 31 and has been doing this forever. I mean, he is not overwhelmed in any facet of the game, playing in this city with so much at stake and trying to fill the shoes of Mark McGuire. It's remarkable.
Well, he's taken over really for Mark McGuire, but he pulls a Kerry Wood fastball inside first pitch. And so what does Kerry do? Come back with a little off-speed pitch, and he is right on it. So you go from 98 to about 80, and he's right there on every single pitch.
Amazing. Here's Drew. Drew hit a Kyle Farnsworth delivery into the seats yesterday. 13 home runs for the Cardinal right fielder. We're seeing this kid grow up right before our very eyes. He's becoming a very, very dangerous major league slugger.
Well, I think he finally got over the auspicious start that he had when he was drafted by the Phillies and didn't want to report, didn't sign with the Phillies. And all of a sudden, a lot of bad things. A lot of guys didn't appreciate what he did and what he said. And all of a sudden, it's taken him a couple of years to really adjust.
Well, he's finally starting to prove that he can be the kind of player that demanded the kinds of numbers that he eventually got. They'll never forgive him in Philadelphia.
Oh, no.
But he's found a home here in St. Louis, and he's been as solid a citizen as they come. 2-1. Upstairs, ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. And Girardi out for a quick summons. One other game underway in the National League. Milwaukee's leading the Pirates. That game's 1-0 in the 3rd inning up at Miller Park. Houston split a doubleheader yesterday, that against Cincinnati, so we're not sure of the pitching matchups Wednesday and Thursday when the Astros are in town. And now here in the second, 2 are on and none are out, and Bobby Bonilla is in the batter's box.
Well, you get to the heart of the Cardinal lineup. Pujols and Drew, who's been really swinging the bat as well as anybody this whole series and this whole homestand. These two guys are setting the table. Now you bring up the wily veteran Bobby Bonilla. And you got to be careful here because Bobby likes the fastball. He likes the ball down.
A lot of folks thought he was done. He's not done. He's hitting .308.
Well, Bobby's a guy that, I mean, he loves the game. And sure, a lot of things have been said. He's very emotional. A lot of bad things kind of happen. But when you get down to the basics, he's a good guy to have on the bench. Switch hitter, plays infield and outfield.
Little pop left side. Miller gives chase. Can he catch up to it? Did he catch it?
Oh, look out.
Billy Miller slams into the knee, and he's hurt.
He's hurt.
Bill Miller goes down, hard slide, and I think his foot and knee got caught underneath that rotating sign down the left field line.
This is something that the Cubs do not need. Wow. Bill Miller going full speed, trying to make a great play, and as he slid, you could see his leg get caught up under there. He was right near the wall. Oh, and he's in pain.
Boy, oh boy, how the game has changed. You see the ballparks nowadays trying to maximize every possible revenue source, and a rotating sign with that 6-inch gap between the bottom of the sign and the playing surface. It's a 1 in a million thing that could happen, and it happened. Unfortunately, it appears, to Bill Miller. Chasing after that twisting pop fly foul off Bonilla's bat. A valiant sliding try, and Miller took a nasty spill.
Well, it's got to be the left knee is what Cubs trainer Mr. Tombus is looking at. We go back and take a look. You see Miller, I mean, he's giving chase. A little looping foul ball by Bobby Bonilla. Watch as he slides in, and you see his left knee goes up under it.
Well, it's like his knee banged right into it. I'm guessing there's a steel rod under there.
Well, what there is, there's concrete up under there because that's the wall, and it looks like it could be his kneecap. You know, I'd rather see it be his kneecap than him to have twisted it, because then you're dealing with cartilage and ligaments there.
So Bill Miller, a St. Louis native, takes a nasty spill. Good crowd here at Busch Stadium hoping that he's all right. And obviously he's not going to continue in this ball game, and as soon as we find out what happened medically with that knee, we'll let you know. But well, that's a crippling loss for this Cub defense. Team that was playing so well for a guy who's getting a fresh start with the Cubs. And down Miller goes on Mother's Day Sunday at Busch Stadium. And you know it's killing him for him to be helped off the field like that.
Oh, I mean, a huge double here in the first inning from Bill Miller, but he's been really the one consistent, the one constant in this ball club this year. I mean, but you tip your cat. He's a guy, tip your hat, a guy that goes full speed all the time. If we look at it from a different angle, watch his left knee as it goes up under, and it hits right up under.
It's almost like the lower part of his leg below the knee stopped and the rest of his leg didn't.
Exactly. And when you do that, it's flush against that kneecap there with it being bent back right there. And, you know, I think hopefully it's just a bruise as Ron Coomer comes in, take over third base duties. You hope it's just a bruise, though.
Well, that's the one area where the Cubs have been very fortunate this year. They have not had major injury to an everyday player. Mike Fury, of course, had his arm broken on a broken bat play back at Wrigley Field. And hopefully, you're right, hopefully Ronnie Coomer can fill in for Bill Miller, and hopefully Bill's injury won't be severe. But again, as soon as we know, we'll let you know at home. Game situation now, 2 on for the Cardinals. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bobby Bonilla. Cubs leading by 2.
Right now, Kerry Wood is really fighting with himself, trying to find the comfort zone out there. And, you know, but maybe this could be an omen, because the last 2 starts we've had, Kerry Wood, he has gone to great starts in the first inning. All of a sudden, lost it in the third. Right now, he's behind.
Everything's up right now. Can't get that breaking ball to snap for him yet. Count full, 3-2. That's usually the book on a power pitcher. Make them throw strikes. Wear them down. Sometimes they're wild in the strike zone, wild out of it too.
Make them throw a lot of pitches.
3-2. That's the story for A.J. Burnett yesterday. 9 walks, but a no-hitter. Kerry Wood, every time out, has a chance to throw on. His stuff is that good on a consistent basis. The payoff pitch. He lost him. Bases loaded, nobody out. Here comes Oscar Acosta.
Well, the one thing you don't want to do against a hot hitting ball club is put guys on via the base on balls. Kerry Wood has done just that. Has gotten himself into trouble here in the bottom of the second already. 29 pitches. So you see the pitch counts up there, and the Cardinals are doing their job. They're taking a lot of pitches, being very patient at the plate. And like I said, it goes back to the theory. When you see these guys that are very balanced, they're not jumping at the ball. And when you don't jump at the ball, you have a tendency more to see the ball better, not swing at the balls. When you jump, the ball is moving, and so all of a sudden you've been aggressive and swinging and getting yourself out like the Cubs have been doing.
This Cardinal team puts the ball in play, don't they?
Well,
They've got some sluggers, but they don't strike out. They make things happen.
Well, this is one guy who does strike out quite a bit, but he is very dangerous with men in scoring position.
And you're not going to strike him out if you throw it shoulder high.
And he doesn't swing at it. But right now, Kerry Wood has to start getting ahead of the hitters.
1 ball, no strikes to Langford. Cardinals have him loaded. And that's a good pitch. 1-1. Langford at 265, 9 home runs and 21 driven in. He's homered 20 times or more in 6 straight seasons for St. Louis. 1-1. Threw that past him, 1-2. Best fastball of the day, I think.
Now here's where Kerry has to be careful, because he has that great breaking ball, and we've seen it happen time and time again. He throws 2 fastballs by the hitter, and all of a sudden he wants to come with the breaking ball. This is where Joe Girardi, they have been on the same page. He hasn't caught up to it. Don't speed his bat up for him.
Don't get beat with your second or third best pitch. 1-2. Fastball missed high. No place to put Langford. Here's the pitch he wants it to happen on. 2-2. Nobody out. Pujols started the frame with a single. Drew walked. Bonilla walked. Bill Miller chasing down a pop fly. Rammed into one of the advertising signs and is out of the game. 2-2 pitch. Struck him out. Langford goes down swinging. 97-mile-an-hour fastball for out number one.
Well, that's the Kerry Wood that we all come to know and love, and he throws fastball, 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 and you see the uppercut that Ray Langford has, and you're not going to hit it when you're uppercutting it. You've got to be able to level that swing off.
2 strikeouts in as many innings for Wood, and here's Mike Matheny, the Cardinal catcher, looking for his first base hit of this 3-game series. Matheny for St. Louis, sharing time with Marrero behind the plate. Oh, way upstairs. Matheny has struck out 20 times in 85 at bats. This Cardinal team in 35 games struck out 273 times. Langford's accounted for nearly 20% of that by himself. 1-1.
Well, if there's a good thing to putting the 3 guys on base at their own base is that you get to face the bottom part of the lineup of the Cardinals, and that's where the strikeouts mount.
Kerry Wood protecting a 2-run lead. A single and then 2 walks. Another chat. Girardi must have spotted something in Kerry's delivery. And Don Baylor looking on. This is part of the maturation process of a power pitcher, is it not?
You know,
It seems like every time one of those guys goes out there, there's one inning where, for whatever reason, they lose it. Well, it's the great ones that can get it back.
At times they tend to overthrow. Their arm angle may change a little bit. The adrenaline may be pumping. And so then you go out there and have them relax. And George Girardi tells him to do, and he comes back with the high heat.
And it all starts with that fastball. You can get that pitch over, then you've got the hitter in real trouble.
I think it's the most important pitch in all of baseball, because your fastball, everything else feeds off of your fastball. If you establish your fastball, you have hitters wanting to jump out there and be aggressive.
Ball 3 high, 3-2.
And when they become aggressive, then you drop the Uncle Charlie or the curveball off on them, and they're way out in front. With 3-2 here, 1 out, bases loaded. There's no place to put Mike Matheny. He's thrown 5 straight fastballs. Maybe number 6 here.
Little pop-up out of play. And Matheny stays alive for the Cardinals. Great weekend in St. Louis. And we'll be back here in mid to late June, June 18th through the 21st. The Cardinals will be at Wrigley Field June 5th, 6th, and 7th. Was that pitch?
Wow.
Kerry Wood barking at the home plate umpire. Tim Sheeta. That ball split in the middle of the plate, and Wood walks home Pujols to make it a 2-1 game. You never see Kerry Wood argue like that, and that ball looked right down the middle of the plate.
Oh, home plate umpire Tim Sheeta is hearing from a few of the Cubbies as Don Baylor has a word, but right here, 3-2 fastball. Kerry Wood right at the knees right there. Oh my.
And you see Kerry barking as the pitch not called a strike. So give Matheny an RBI. Pujols scores. Drew at third, Bonilla at second. That's a situation where the close call doesn't go to the pitcher who hasn't established the strike zone today. Now here's Andy Benes. And that misses for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, a lot of times the umpire will get into a mode where Kerry Woods is elevating the fastball up, so he's looking up, up, up. All of a sudden he throws one down, and that's not where he's been throwing it. And you think it's the ball, but that right there, man, that was a tough pitch.
And it went to the Cardinals. The lead cut in half, and Venice waves and misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Venice, if you look closely, wearing a thick, heavy knee brace on his right leg. Both his ACL and his MCL in the right knee have been stretched out over the years, and he needs that stabilization to take the mound every 5th day. 1-1 pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Andy, yeah, you got to swing again, pal. He doesn't look all that eager to do it, and I can't blame him.
Well, he's going to go up there and try to put the ball in play. And you talk about, you know, for a pitcher, people will think probably the most important thing would be your arm. But you know what? Without your legs, without your lower body, I mean, you cannot do anything. And you see the ACL and MCL stretched out a little bit. He has to have that support to be able to push off.
Venice behind 1-2. And the breaking ball takes care of him. Strikeout number 3, out number 2. But the bad news is you now have to go back to the top of the order and face Fernando Vina instead of the inning being over and the Cubs up by 2. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Cardinals on the board and a pesky hitter in the box with a very small strike zone.
Well, a guy who knows how to put the ball in play had a shot in the first inning that Sammy Sosa made a very good running catch. This is one guy you don't want to see come up there with the bases loaded. He got a very good eye at the plate, but he puts the ball in play.
So far, I don't really like this second inning too much. We lose Bill Miller. Cardinals score a run, and they've made Wood pile up the pitches here. Ball 1 to Vina. No place to put him.
You know, he's already on pitch 46, and you know, a pitcher would try to get out of an inning with 13 pitches or less. That's kind of the standard. So you see Kerry Woods right at 46 already, so he's way above the limit.
Vina couldn't stop himself, spun out of the way. And I believe that was called a strike, but not on the swing. May have cut the inside corner.
Well, that could have been called either way, as we've seen Jim Edmonds do this, but not fall down, and Vina get ready to swing. And that's what the fastball do. It makes you jump out there. These guys are looking for the fastball and jumping out there. And when it comes in at them, they're trying to get out of the way, and it's too late.
1-1. Now he's got Vina set up. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cubs got 2 in the first. Cardinals with 1 here in the second. A bases loaded walk to Mike Matheny. The 1-2. Stayed way upstairs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And curveball just not biting yet. Kerry, we talked about that earlier in the inning. Fastball still plenty good. Let's see what he has in mind on this pitch. This is maybe the biggest pitch of the game right now. And Vina corks it fair down the right field line. Drew scores. Bunny is going to score. Matheny's on his way to third. He's going to come around and score. Vina with a triple, and the Cardinals have the lead.
How did he hit that pitch?
Now Oscar Acosta's out to protest. I think Kerry Wood might have been tossed from the game. He was screaming at the home plate umpire, Tim Sheeta. Now Oscar's been run. Kerry Wood still upset at that no-call third strike to Mike Matheny.
Tim Sheeta has tossed Oscar Acosta because you can't come out and argue balls and strikes. And I don't know if Kerry Wood, hopefully Kerry Wood has not been tossed. But that was a huge strike that he did not call on Mike Matheny.
Yeah, it's huge in the sense that it scored a run, but more than anything else, Matheny, the number 8 hitter, gets on with 1 out. Wood strikes out Venice, then he had to face Vina with the bases loaded, no place to put him, And he corked a 2-2 pitch down the right field line that clears the bases for the Cardinals. So one more bad inning for Kerry Wood. Cardinals plate 4. They lead it 4-2. Oscar Acosta is out of the ball game. Kerry Wood is not out of the ball game.
Well, if we go back to the dispute, Mike Matheny, 3-2 pitch here, and this is what Kerry Wood and really the Cubs are arguing about. Right down Broadway, right at the knees, they called it ball 4, and that brought up Bennis and then Vina. And how in the world did Vina hit the pitch he just hit?
He yanked it over Matt Stairs' head into the corner, and now Polanco hits. Best breaking ball of the day for Kerry Wood. But you go back to what we said before as you look at the Vina pitch.
Watch with his fastball. Look at this. Fastball is, I mean, it's eye high, and he gets on top of it.
Amazing. Polanco drives that out of play. But the point that really needs to be made in this inning, the Cubs can complain to Tim Sheeta all day long. When you throw the ball over the strike zone and you don't establish command to the home plate umpire, that close call is not going to be given to the pitcher.
Well, you're absolutely right. When you elevate the ball time and time again, and all of a sudden one comes down like that, it's almost too little too late.
Wood strikes out the side, but the Cardinals get 3 walks, 2 hits, and 4 runs. Tim Sheeta runs Oscar Acosta from the game, and the Cardinals retain a 4-2 lead. Well, for all the moms out there, we apologize for some of the language you might have been able to lip read. But emotions are very high. And you see Oscar Acosta saying to Kerry Wood, you stay back, I'll handle the argument. And Oscar Acosta immediately gets thrown out by Tim Sheeta for arguing balls and strikes. He was right. I mean, it was strike 3. But you got to throw strikes consistently if you want those close pitches. And now the Cubs bats have to come to life against Andy Bennis here in inning number 3. Ron Coomer takes the place of Bill Miller, who was injured on a sliding catch attempt on a Bobby Bonilla foul ball in that wacky second inning. And a line drive caught by Pujols at third. 1 up, 1 down.
Well, when it's going good, it's going good, and right now it's going good for the Cardinals.
That's been the story of this series. Sammy Sosa coming up before he bats. Let's pause quickly for station identification.
This is WGN, entertaining America.
Joe Carter, Chip Caray from St. Louis. Cardinals 4, Cubs 2. And Sammy Sosa hits with 1 man out. Cubs have lost 9 straight in St. Louis. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, this is the part, if you're the Cubs, you have to go back out there, try to get this momentum back, because the Cardinals have stolen the momentum. But as they say, momentum, it has no friends. It can go either way.
Couple hits here, couple hits there, and you can get right back in this ball game. Nothing against Andy Bennis, but he does tend to have a lot of men on base when he pitches. So let's make him work here in the 3rd. 2-1 to Sosa. 3 balls and a strike. And Sammy has issued a 1-out walk. 2nd time he's walked today. 36th time he's walked in 37 Cub games.
Well, you saw Andy Bennis looking at Mike Matheny and asking, you know, was that a strike? Was that a ball? And it's the same pitch that Tim Tachita is not going to call, or at least he better not call it a strike, because he didn't call it a strike on Mike Matheny. So Mike Matheny not going to argue, because he got the benefit of the doubt.
That's all you can ask. Be consistent. And if Sheeta's going to not call it, now it's up to the pitchers to make the adjustment. That one missed outside for a ball to Rondell White. Rondell struck out with men at 1st and 3rd and 1 out in that 1st inning.
And when you get an umpire that is not going to really call that outside pitch, as a hitter, forget about looking out there because he hasn't established it. He's not going to call it. So now you look middle in, anything else away, let it go because it's going to be called a ball. He's not giving the outside corner.
So hitters make the adjustment. We'll see if Bennis and Wood can make it as well. Runner at first, one out. Sammy Sosa. Cubs trailing by a pair. That one did catch the corner. 2-2. Bennis has been around a long time. Broke in with the Padres many moons ago. Gets by more on guile than overwhelming stuff. He's been a very effective starter since putting on that Cardinal uniform. This is his second stint in St. Louis. And Bennis 14 games over 500. Two balls, two strikes to Cub left fielder Rondell White. He held up. It's 3-2.
Andy's younger brother Alan Bennis, in the Cardinal organization down in AAA at Louisville?
Memphis now,
Memphis.
I think. Used to be Louisville.
The Memphis Chicks.
3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Rondell drives that one into shallow left field straight away. Langford coming on now, slows down. Rondell pops out. And they're 2 away from Matt Stairs.
Well, you see the way that he was not able to get on top of that fastball, and I'm still amazed at Fernando Vina.
Well, he's the best hitter in the league at the bill of his cap.
A guy throwing the ball 96, 97 miles an hour, a fastball up around your eyes, and he's able to get on top of it. Tells me he's a high ball hitter.
You got that right. At least he was in that at bat. Here's Stairs. Another swing. Ball 1. Cubs got 2 in the first. Cardinals got 4 in the second. Big call, a non-call that went the Cardinals' way. That led to the Vina at bat. And give him credit. He tomahawked the ball down the right field line and cleared the bases. And it's funny in this game, when the breaks go your way, as they did for the Cubs on an earlier 6-game win streak, you can do no wrong. When you're playing poorly, you don't get any breaks, and everything bad that can happen will.
Murphy's Law.
You got it. 2-0 pitch. Stairs jumps on that ball, and that's into the right field corner. Ricochets off the facing, and that's trouble for St. Louis. Stairs with a long single. They dare to induce a J.D. Drew throw home, and Stairs puts men at the corners first and third.
But you know, you talk about breaks, and breaks are part of the ball game. Fernando Vina hits one down the first base line. It looks like it may hit the short railing, but it doesn't. It goes all the way into the corner for a triple. Matt Stairs hits one down here. What does it do? It hits the wall, kicks back out. If it goes out in the corner, Sammy's going to score, and Sammy's off and running. But you got to hold him up with 2 outs.
So first and third for Matthews, who legged out an infield chopper that Bennis couldn't get to, and Vina, who plays a very deep second base, tried to make the glove flip to first, but Gary beat the rap and drove home Bill Miller.
You see Gary take one out of here.
1 ball, no strikes. I'd like to see him, if Bennis pitches in that way, dump one over Pujols' head down the left field line and play him to pull in the outfield.
I'll go for that.
4-2. This game not over by a long stretch. That one popped up right side, pretty deep, and pretty deep into the seats. Hard to believe it, but Busch Stadium, 35 years and 1 day old today. Yesterday was the anniversary of the Cardinals' first ever game played here. Lou Brock had the game-winning hit in a 4-3 win over Atlanta on yesterday's date, 1966. So much history in this ballpark. It's hard to believe that they're talking about getting a new stadium in St. Louis, although it's not a very popular item politically. But a great moment in baseball history in 1958 on this date. Stan Musial, Stan the Man, hit number 3,000. Pinch hit double off Mo Drabowski. The Cardinals beat the Cubs 5-3. Who can forget that peekaboo stance of Stan the Man? Who shares the same birthplace and birth date as another very good left-handed hitter.
Who would that be?
You ever heard of a guy named Ken Griffey Jr.?
I've heard of King Griffey Sr.
No. You played with him, right? No, I'm just kidding. But I tell you, if they do get their new ballpark, it would be a Camden Yards, Pac Bell, Wrigley Field-esque facility, baseball only, just south of the current stadium. All the requisite luxury boxes and such. But it's amazing what they've done with this place. Used to be the AstroTurf, very bland, sterile environment. Of course, this is once the home of the St. Louis football Cardinals. But they added the gigantic panoramic scoreboard and retired number, world championship area in the upper deck. Painted all the seats red, added the natural grass. And it really is a nice baseball park. Matthews has a good at-bat going here in the Cubs half of the third.
Well, right now he has a great at-bat, mainly because Andy Bennett does not change speeds very well. He throws all the pitches very hard. Fastball, slider, and when you stay around the same speed, you don't give the big league hitters a chance to make adjustments or change the speeds with maybe a changeup. It gets easier and easier. So Gary Matthews here not being fooled right now, and seems to scrape one of those fastballs and sliders out.
2 on, 2 out. Oh, they got Stairs pitched, but the throw came in a little bit too high.
Well, you never say it never works, because
hey, we've seen it work.
and I've seen it work quite a few times with young man that's pitching for the Baltimore Orioles, Pat Hinkin. He has one of the best first to third moves. He even got a future Hall of Famer in Paul Molitor.
That's got to be a big fine if Hinkin record if that play works. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, the thing with Paul played for the Blue Jays, and he knew about the move. Once he went to Minnesota, I'm playing first base. First and third, 3-2 pitch, and he takes off, and Pat Hinkin turns around and throws the ball back to me, and I'm like, Paulie,
I've got baseball.
I've got good news and bad news.
Sosa at third, Stairs at first. Sosa's walked twice. Stairs has a hit. Gary Matthews Jr. a hit and an RBI.
Gary Matthews is getting his money's worth right now. But the Cubs need to cash in.
The stretch in the 2-2. In the dirt, pops away from Matheny. Stairs upset that he couldn't take off on that play. But with 2 outs, got to play it safe. He'll be running now on a 3-2 count. Augie Ojeda, the Cubs shortstop, waiting on deck.
Well, one of the few breaking balls that Andy Bennett has thrown, and you see, threw about a 52-footer. Mike Matheny able to keep the ball in front of him and keep Sammy at third and Matt at first, but 3-2. Matt's going to be running ball in the gap. Good score, 2.
Edmonds picking daisies, it looks like, out in center field. Saying, Andy, come on, throw a strike. 3-2. Runner goes. Ball 4. Bases loaded. 4 walks for Bennis. 3 walks for Wood. And the Cubs have the bases loaded now for shortstop Augie Ojeda.
Well, Andy Bennis, as you see, Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa wondering where that pitch is at. And you know what? Tim Tachita has set the example. You know, that ball is off the plate, but 3-2, you're not going to get a close call right now simply for the fact he didn't call it against the Cubs.
If you can be consistent.
If he calls that pitch a strike, maybe a lot of guys thrown out of the ball game.
Here's Augie, flat out. And this misses low. Fans don't want to see the umpires umpire. But Sheeta making him hit the corners. Not giving the extra inch or two on the outside portion, apparently, today. 1-0. That one good enough. And Cat evens hit a ball and a strike.
Boy, you have your 8-hole hitter up in Augie Ojeda. The first 2 pitches that Andy Bennis throws him with the bases loaded. 2 off-speed breaking ball pitches.
High lazy pop, shallow left. Out goes Polanco. In comes Langford. And the Cubs lead. The bases loaded in the 3rd. Bennis walking the world, but still has the lead. 4-2 after 2.5.
Happy Mother's Day. I know you're back home in Chicago. I'll see you tonight, and I will give you a call here in about another 6 hours after the game. So happy Mother's Day. Love you.
Ron Coomer's a nice man, and we echo his sentiments. Happy Mother's Day, Mrs. Coomer. And 6 hours, the way this one's going, might be a little optimistic. Too many walks, 7 of them already. And we've only played 2.5 innings.
6 hours after the game. That's going to be a long ball game.
Well, if that's what it takes to beat these guys, I'm all for it. So Kerry Wood back to work here in the 3rd inning. Edmonds, Pujols, and Drew once again for Kerry. The game has turned on 1 pitch.
Well, it seems like it's always been 1 pitch here or there, and when you're struggling, when the team is struggling, everything becomes magnified. And when you're in those close races, this is what happened. The season or the game can turn on just 1 single pitch. Right now, Kerry has to forget about what's behind him. Go out there and keep these Cardinals at bay here.
Kerry has 6 outs in the game, 4 of them via strikeout, but 3 walks again. 4-2 Cardinals. We're in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. And Evans hits a high, towering fly ball deep right. Sosa back at the track, at the wall, leaps up, and it's out of here. Valiant effort by Gary Matthews Jr., but Evans goes deep.
This Cardinal ball club, they will show you they can get on top of the fastball. Fernando Pena earlier, the last inning, and now Jim Edmonds. I tell you, this guy's a very smart hitter. And Kerry Wood, in the 1st inning, struck him out. But here, watch this extended fastball up. Wow.
How about that uppercut swing?
This ball's a mile in the air. Gary Matthews giving it his all in all, but it's not enough.
So 7 home runs for Edmonds. The Cardinal lead is now 5-2. And here's Pujols. Big breaking strike over the outside corner.
You know, and that's probably the way it goes. When you're struggling scoring runs, you leave the bases loaded, with the Cubs have done 2 times. Did it last inning, and what happens? The first hitter for the opposition, the Cardinals, home run, making it look so easy.
That ball was.
Well, that was a breaking ball that fooled both Albert and Tim Tachita.
2 balls and a strike. Now it's 3-1. Wood talking to himself out there, and he's working real quickly, and it's not working to his benefit right now. It might be time for another visit from somebody to try to settle him down a little bit. Again, Oscar Acosta's been thrown out of the ball game. And Kerry's emotions, it appears, getting the best of him for the moment.
Well, yes, his emotions definitely are getting the best of him as everything is rushing now. He becomes frustrated, and this is what happened. This is what you don't want to happen. This is where you need that veteran guy to go out there and settle Kerry down. Say, look, we're still in this ball game, but let's keep this right here.
And he misses high to Drew. It's an amazing difference on this road trip. It's as if the hitters and the pitchers all got cold in their respective fields at the same time. On this road trip, the Cubs starters, not counting today, have gone 33 innings. 39 hits, 26 earned runs, and 8 home runs. Factor in Wood's outing today. 35 innings, 41 hits, 31 earned runs. That one cranked deep to right. That's going to be a 2-run shot. Look at that ball go.
J.D. Drew once again, the third straight day. This young man is just feasting off Cub pitching. When you struggle throwing strikes, you have hitters who love to hit the fastball, and this Cardinal team loves to hit the fastball. And right now, they're just teeing off on Kerry Wood. Wow, fastball knee high.
That's the happy zone for a left-hand hitter. And if you just make contact, it's going to go. And J.D. Drew has killed us. He's 6 for 9 in the series, 3 home runs and 5 driven in. And now the Cub bullpen starts to get busy. Todd Van Poppel is up. A 4-run second, a 3-run third. There's still nobody out. The Cardinals have scored 7 unanswered runs.
Well, they took away any momentum. The Cubs jump out 2 runs in the first.
I haven't seen Kerry this year miss this consistently high. I mean, it's been some of the pitches he's missed with have been borderline pitches. The one to Matheny, obviously, but everything is up. And really, the hitter facing a 3-1 count like Bonilla, you know, you see a fastball, or at least you think you are.
Well, right now it's just total frustration on Kerry Wood's part. The lack of support he has gotten, and now the trouble he's gotten himself into. Right now, he just ran back and said, here's the fastball. Hit it if you can. More than not, the Cardinals have been hitting it.
Nice rally down, 3 balls and a strike to get Bonilla. Swung right through it. Nothing wrong with that pitch. So we've got a deep hole dug this afternoon. 7-2 St. Louis. Again, ball 1. Started off the game very well. Very different innings. First inning, he got the Cardinals 1-2-3 through a first pitch strike to every hitter he faced. In the second inning, couldn't do it. Couldn't get ahead.
You know, these have to be learning experiences for Kerry Wood. And right now, he's probably looking more like Rick Ankiel than the Kerry Wood of old. But right now, just total frustration of losing streak, coming here and in here to St. Louis and on the verge of getting swept.
Not at all what we were hoping to see.
Oh, no.
But again, have to give credit where credit's due. We're catching the Cardinals, who are playing by far their best baseball of the year. Another walk. That's 5 of them. Matches his season high or low, depending on how you want to look at it. He also walked 5 in a loss to San Diego. So 3 in, 1 on, 1 out. And here's Mike Matheny.
Well, he's the guy that started this whole mess.
Matheny, with 10 RBIs, has Langford over at first. No doubt would like to see Kerry get through this inning for his spots due up first in the 4th inning. Bennis on deck. The pitch. Snaps over for strike one. Brewers lead the Pirates 3-0. That game moves now to the 6th. Montreal and the Rockies are scoreless. They've completed 1 inning at Coors Field. Plenty of other American League action. We'll tell you about that. Boston trailing at home to Oakland 4-1. Tampa Bay flanking the Indians 7-0 today. Brad Radke was beaten for the first time yesterday by Kansas City, you'll recall. Minnesota getting revenge today, 5-zip. Yankees and Baltimore tied at 3 heading to the home half of the 7th. Anaheim 7, Tigers 1, Seattle 7, Detroit 5. They go to the 8th at Skydome. And the White Sox in a 1-run game 4-3 at home with Texas. Here it's 7-2. St. Louis 7 runs and only 4 hits. I just say right now, Kerry, forget about the breaking ball. Just throw that fastball. If it's in the right spot, they're not going to hit it anyway. That curveball's gotten him into a whole lot of trouble today.
Well, when you get down the bottom of the order, yeah, guys like Mike Matheny and Andy Bennis not going to be able to handle it.
Lots of 3-ball counts, lots of walks, lots of strikeouts.
When you do that, the pitch count adds up. Already here in the bottom of the 3rd, 81 pitches.
3-2. Ball 4. 6 walks. Langford to second. Bennis to the plate. This is the last guy Kerry's going to face. If he can't get Bennis, you'd figure. Bennis struck out swinging in the Cardinals' 2nd. Just one of those days for Kerry today. And he needs ground ball at somebody. Nice to get 2 outs with 1 pitch. Bennis himself has not exactly had pinpoint control, so even though the Cubs are down 5 runs, it's still very early in this ball game. But what scares you is the offense in our dugout hasn't been swinging well at all.
That's right. 7 runs right now. Looks like about 15. The Cubs have to find some way to mount an attack.
Bennis shows butt. Snap throw back to second. And Langford is back on his belly. 1 ball, 1 strike. What do they do in Major League? What did Pedro Serrano do? Put the shrine of Jobu, right? Maybe have a bat seance or something. Or maybe just leave these in St. Louis and get a whole new set of war clubs in Chicago. 1-1. And splits the plate 1 and 2. Did you try any wacky stuff? I'm sure you only had maybe 1 slump in your illustrious.
You kidding me? I had many a slump.
What'd you do?
You know what the thing is? You have to be the total optimist. You have to go out there, forget about what's already happened. You can't worry about that. You can't change it. Go out there and be positive and say, you know what? I had a bad at bat yesterday. Forget about that. Let me try to get a base hit here.
Wood strikes out Bennis with a breaking ball. That's out number 2. And Kerry, if you throw it down the middle, Vignea's not going to hit it. If you try to get him out of the middle of his cap, you might have some trouble.
You might be in trouble. Houston, we have a problem.
Vigne tripled home 3. That's the back-breaking base hit for the Cardinals. But again, that close call that went against us with Matheny's at bat, the one that probably hurts the most.
As you stated, Don Baylor hoping to get out of this inning with no more runs because Kerry Wood His first up in the order. Do not want to double switch here in the third inning. With Bill Miller already out of the ball game and Ron Coomer coming in, that leaves Ricky Gutierrez. He's the only remaining infielder along with Julio Zuleta.
No balls and a strike. 1-1. Cardinals 7 runs, 4 hits. Kerry's walked 6 Cardinal hitters. He's also struck out 6 Cardinal hitters. To put it into perspective, in this series, the Cubs pitchers have a grand total of 3 1-2-3 innings.
This series or this road trip?
This series.
This series.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you caught this Cardinal team at a very tough time when they're swinging the bats well. And Mike Easler said it. These guys, they're patient. They work the count, and they can hit. And they're very balanced at what they do.
On the road trip, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 14. 1, 2, 3 innings. Upstairs, 2-2.
Well, you see what hitting that fastball
Yeah.
has done to Kerry Wood for Fernando Vina. He's trying to get him out the breaking ball, and rightfully so. When a guy hits a 97-mile-an-hour fastball up in his eyes, change.
2-2. And he got Vina out on the front foot, and that retires the side. But an Edmonds homer, a Drew homer, and 2 make it 3 more walks in the inning. Wood has struck out the side for the 2nd time in the game, but it's also the 2nd inning where he's walked 3 men. The Cardinals have a 5-run lead. (7-2) is our score, and Kerry Wood is going to lead off here in the 4th inning, and somewhat of a surprising decision, seeing as game 5 runs in favor of the Cardinals. But bullpen's been used a lot. I'm sure Don Baylor was asking Kerry, how do you feel? He said, probably other than the score, I feel great, but maybe he can find a groove here and the Cubs can get something going against Andy Benes.
Well, I think it also had to do with Bill Miller being out of the ball game and Ron Coomer being put in. It kind of takes away from your bench, and you never know what may happen later on in the game. You don't want to run out of players. And that's what Don Baylor is probably looking at.
1 up, 1 down as Kerry pops out. Wednesday, May 16th. The first 30,000 fans get an exclusive limited edition Topps 1958 Ernie Banks MVP baseball card. The authentic reprints, special 50th anniversary edition, and is sequentially numbered. The Cubs are the only team in baseball featuring these 50th anniversary card sets, and you can get them only at Wrigley Field, and they're sponsored by Verizon Wireless. Cheer on the Cubs as we battle the Astros at 7:05 Wednesday night. Tickets call 1-800-THE-CUBS. EY shows butt and takes a ball.
Well, right now, this is a good strategy by EY. Take a lot of pitches. Do what you can to get on base, but right now the Cubs have to mount some kind of attack here.
Young's lined out and bounced to first with the pitcher covering, so he's 0 for 2. Just missed the outside corner.
Come on, Nick, come on.
I thought that one was a little high. On the count full now, 3-2. A-Rod is joined the history books. And that one ticketed for left field, but a jump by Langford. He puts that away. 2 down. A-Rod last night hit home run number 200 and 201 of his major league career. 5th youngest man to reach that mark. He's only 25 years old.
I'll tell you what, a great future, well, even a present for this young man. But in Texas, they have no pitching.
Tough to win that way. Here's Girardi. He's doubled, scored, and flied out to center. Things looked great after a half inning. Heck, after 1 inning, Cubs jumped on Andy Bennis for a pair. Kerry Wood set him down 1, 2, 3. Then in the bottom half of the second, Billy Miller banged his knee into one of the rotating scoreboard signs down the left field line. It was a freak accident. And again, going back to what I said, ballparks today, they're trying to maximize every bit of potential revenue space, and you hope that that rotating sign didn't seriously injure Miller. He was able to walk off the field, but he needed a whole lot of help, and at least to my untrained eye, didn't appear to be putting a whole lot of weight on that knee.
Well, homie, is not as serious as they could have been. This may just be a bruised kneecap, and I think that was the main thing that he hit, was his kneecap on the wall up under the sign.
High chopper by Girardi. Polanco good play, and Bennis has a 1, 2, 3. Top of the 4th inning. 7-2, St. Louis the lead. You ever been up in the arch?
Yes, I have.
Did you do it on a windy day?
When you get that high, it's always windy up there.
Yeah, it's one of the amazing things. A lot of folks don't know this, but you can take an elevator ride up to the top of the Gateway Arch.
Yes.
And you get to look at southern Illinois and West St. Louis County, 660 some odd feet above street level. It is a magnificent view and truly an architectural and engineering marvel. The gateway to the West.
You know, I wonder if McGuire's ever hit one that far.
Boy.
You know, he could almost reach that from here.
Well, anything's in his crosshairs as Wood goes back to work. Saw Big Mac taking batting practice today. It's kind of funny. The Cardinals, I don't want to say are secretive about what his rehab schedule is, but they're definitely not hyping it at all. I think they want Mark to recover at his own pace because they don't want his knee problems to be a continuing source of problem for them, obviously. But he was taking batting practice today. Granted, while it's only batting practice, it was still an amazing physical display as Polanco rolls out to second. They call it Big Mac land for a reason. And up in left field in the upper deck, he was ripping shot after shot after shot. And of course, McGuire also taking some ground balls, taking some hitting practice, running the bases a little bit. And as well as they're swinging the bats now, just think how devastating this lineup could be with McGuire in it.
Well, one thing, when you have your superstar out with an injury, sometimes the other guys, the troops, they rally around this young man and they say, look, he's gone, but we can still play. So you find out more of your character and how well you can play because you're not relying on one guy.
Now, this may sound like a silly question, but I don't mean it to. The way Pujols is hitting, where do you hit McGuire? Do you bump Pujols out of the 4th spot and put McGuire back there? Does he hit someplace else?
You know what? I still think you bump Pujols. You have to go. I mean, Big Mac is the legitimate cleanup hitter. When he comes back, when he's ready, he's going to be hitting 4th. Now you put a guy like Pujols behind him, you drop Drew down 2. So it just shifts down 1, and it makes it, instead of having 7, 8, 9 easy outs, now you maybe only have 8 and 9 easy outs.
Well, think about as Edmonds takes up all this Cardinal team. Let's say you go Vigna, Renteria, Edmonds, McGuire, Drew, Pujols, Langford, Matheny/Marrero on the pitcher. Left, right, left, right, left, right, all the way through the man. What a luxury. Stairs can't handle that top spin hot shot, and he's aboard with 1 man out. That thing almost 8 stairs alive.
Well, once again, a high fastball here. And Jim Edmonds. I mean, you have to marvel at the way these guys are able to adjust and get on top of the ball. And Matt Stairs, no chance at first base, and the hits just keep on coming.
1 on, 1 out. Here's Pujols. Pujols has singled, he's walked, and he scored a couple of runs. Well, what a nice young man this kid is. Just 21 years of age. And playing third base like Kenny Boyer used to play here in St. Louis.
You know, I have yet to see him take a bad swing or be fooled yet.
Well, the all-time great Cardinals, late great Ken Boyer. Pujols has played in left field as well for St. Louis. Last year he was in Double-A. His first year in baseball as he draws walk number 7 was the minor league player of the year. 19 home runs, 96 driven in, and a .314 batting average. Started in Peoria, went to Potomac, ended up in Memphis, and now is with the major league team. At the age of 16, came from the Dominican Republic to Kansas City, Missouri. A 13th round pick in the '99 draft. 2 on, 1 out. Drew back to the mound. Wood, second base 1, first base not in time. Took Kerry a little bit of extra time to get the ball out of his glove. The ball was hit so hard it nearly stuck in the mid.
Well, it did take a little time to get out, but also the bat was coming towards Kerry also as he finally makes a good pitch here. They hit a double pump. Get 1 out, but the speedy Drew able to beat it out. And when you can prolong those innings on a sure double play, the Cubs have hit into 11 double plays so far this road trip. That took them out of big innings, but now the Cardinals able to prolong this inning, and this is when you get hurt.
Bonilla walked, struck out, also a score. Wood has walked 7, struck out 6. Trying to gobble up some innings for a Cub bullpen that's been used an awful lot on this road trip. Foul tipped, strike 2. Might be the first 0-2 count he's had today. Haven't been many. Despite striking out 6 guys. Cardinals make it tough. 1 and 2. Montreal got 4 in the second in Colorado. It's 4-0. The Expos have the lead. Swung on, hit high in the air, left center field. Matthews and White converge. Gary's calling for it. He's got it, and Kerry escapes the 4th, unscored upon. But another walk, his 7th of the game. We go to the 5th. Coomer, Sosa, and White for the Cubs, who trail at 7-2.
Hi, I just want to say hi and a happy Mother's Day to my lovely wife, Vicki, my daughter, Linda Brown, and my mother-in-law, Winnie Vandervaart. A happy Mother's Day. I love all of you.
Way to go, Ronnie. Nice job. Yeah, Ronnie, you got always know where the camera is. Ronnie with great voice of the Cubs on radio, Mr. Pat Hughes.
Those glasses Pat have on.
Pat's very stylish.
Like Darth Vader.
You know what? I got to give credit where credit's due. First of all, the pitch to Coomer. Pat has become a man of sartorial splendor. He has very much outdressed Ron Santo on this entire road trip.
Is that right?
Without question. And we know how important that is on the radio side of things. 1 ball, 1 strike. Still no word on the fate of Bill Miller, who was injured in the 2nd inning. And that particular play, to me, seemed to suck the life out of this ball club. He has really been the heart and soul of this team first 6 weeks of the season.
Well, you see, I mean, a hard-nosed ball player likes to get down and dirty and give it an all-out valiant effort. Boy, you hate to see, you hope that it's nothing serious, and it's just a day-to-day injury.
2-1 pitch to Coomer. Popped up. Drew in shallow right. Coomer's 0 for 2. One away in the fifth. If you're just now joining us, Bobby Bonilla was up in that second inning and hit a tailing pop-up, and Bill Miller slammed viciously into the rotating sign and grabbed his left knee. From that reaction, it did not look good at all. In fact, as he hobbled off, it was almost as if the lower portion of his leg was stopped by the bottom of the sign, and his body's momentum carried him forward. So an ugly looking injury, and we're still waiting for the word. I'm sure they probably took him elsewhere to get a more complete diagnosis. It was that horrific a crash down the left field line. Sosa's up. He's walked twice. This one popped a mile high. Pujols has plenty of room, and Polanco calls him off. Good communication by the Cardinals. Sosa pops out. 2 down.
Well, you see the Cubs attack. Right now, there is none. As Andy Bennett has them popping the ball up in the air, and right now the Cubs just cannot sustain any kind of attack whatsoever.
Rondell is struck out, popped out, and lines that one foul past third. Well, I hope our old buddy Steve Stone is enjoying the game down in balmy Scottsdale, Arizona.
You think he's watching the game or probably out playing golf?
Oh, I know he's watching the game.
All right, Stoney.
And he's here in spirit because I know we're about to promote a Beanie Baby or something, and he would like to get a couple shots in on Arnie. But Stoney, glad to hear you're feeling better. Kind of disappointed that your golf game's down to a -1 handicap, and we'll see you on the senior tour here, I'm sure, in the next couple weeks.
You know what? He could be getting ready for that.
1-2 to Rondell White. Bounces up there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We'll see Stoney when we head to the West Coast next. Be in Arizona in the middle of June. Make 2 trips out to the desert, believe it or not. August as well. Ball 3 to Rondell White. And we'll see Mark Grace and the Diamondbacks starting Friday. Boy, that sounds funny to say still. Mark Grace in Arizona in town May 18th, 19th, and 20th. Big weekend of baseball as White walks. Man, oh man, 12 walks in the game. Give Tim Sheeta credit. He's been very consistent behind the plate. Bennis has to get through this 5th to qualify for the win. Matt Stairs walked in single. Houston's in next Monday night, or make that Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday afternoon. Arizona next weekend. Then we'll take our first peek at the Reds May 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Some wire reports say that Dimitri Young might be on the trading block for Cincinnati.
Well, Ken Griffey Jr., we don't know when he's going to be back, but when he comes back, you've got a dilemma out there because Deion Sanders is out there in center field right now. So one of those outfielders will be expendable.
Yeah, with Ochoa, with Rivera, Michael Tucker, Deion Sanders, Dimitri Young, Griffey.
It's too many.
If they'd like to trade him to us, I'd love to see the Cubs try to get that guy. He kills us. Line drives all over the place. 2 balls and a strike. Cub team that had played so well on the road, beginning of this road trip, really has had problems. And it's all come apart at the same time. That's what's so disappointing. However, as quickly as it all falls apart, you've been around this game long enough to know the guys can get back and get hot just as quickly.
Well, you can get back and get hot in it, and what you do, you have to realize exactly where you are. You lose this ball game, you're still only a half game out of first place. You come out of spring training, if you say May 13th, the Cubs would be a half game up or a half game out of first place, would they take this? You bet
Sure.
they would take this. So you have to go out, forget about what has happened, and say, you know what, don't let this 0 for 3 or this 9-game losing streak here in St. Louis all of a sudden become a 0 for 12 or 0 for 15. You know, you don't want to sit on your laurels and just sit there and think about the bad.
2-2. Squib foul again. 7-2 St. Louis. Cubs have 1 on, 2 out in the 5th. Let's pause quickly for station identification.
This is WGN, entertaining America.
Joe Carter, Chip Kerry from St. Louis. Has not been a real fun weekend so far. 2-2. Foul tipped. Matheny couldn't hang on. Well, Matt, let's see if you can park one here and get the Cubs back in this game. Haven't had a hit since Stairs hit in the 3rd. Fought off the breaking ball, and Stairs stays alive. Boy, he really is going back to his old style of hitting.
Well, he's hanging in there, fouling balls off down the first base line and keeping himself alive as you take a look at a very somber and very quiet Cub bench.
Pitch number 100 from Venice. Swung, belted deep right center field, and he does just what we asked for. A hanger, and he hammered it. 7-4. Stairs with his 2nd home run in as many days, and the Cubs right back in this thing. 7-4.
Well, a good at bat from Matt Stairs as he hits foul ball after foul ball. He was able to work deep into the count to Andy Bennis, and Andy Bennis prone for the home run. Gets a breaking ball up in the zone, and Stairs hammers it. And hey, a 2-out RBI. That's something the Cubs have been missing for quite some time now.
3 of them today. That one a 2-run shot by Stairs. And plenty of life left for the Cubs as we're only in the 5th inning. Bennis delivers a strike. A little more life in the Cub dugout. 419 feet the official distance. Matthews tries to bunt. Pujols sniffs it out. Gloves, grabs, guns, and not in time. Good idea by Matthews. Beats the rap at first. Crowd boos. Pujols did all he could, but Matthews with terrific speed is aboard.
Well, we go back. Matt Stairs breaking ball right down the middle of the plate. And he said he's going to start pulling the ball, and he has. And boy, you talking about putting one in the bank. And then Gary Matthews surprising everyone by laying a bunt down, getting guys on base.
How about the finish by Stairs? Looked kind of Fred McGriff-like, wasn't it?
Well,
that high recoil.
You finish up high, let it fly.
Here's Augie. A walk, a homer, and a bunt single with 2 outs. Wonder if the Cubs would tempt fate and let Matthews run here. Julio Zuleta is in the on-deck circle. And the Cardinals bullpen will start to get busy. This game not over by a long shot. 1-0 pitch. Evens the count at a ball and a strike. Former Blue Jay Mike Timlin. So Matthews has been on base 3 times. 2 infield hits and a walk. Augie drives that one down the right field line. That might go. That ball is gone. Home run, Augie Ojeda. Oh, and now the Cardinals come out and protest. Jerry Davis is going to hear an earful, and we might get some home plate help by Tim Sheeta. Davis is going to check. He called home run originally, but it might get overruled. Let's see. The Cardinals erupted immediately. Foul ball.
You know Don Baylor's going to come out and ask what is going on.
Baylor's going to come out. Jerry Davis is going to talk it over. Augie thought he went deep, but the umpire did the right thing. He called the play, then he asked for the help after the Cardinals objected, and that's all you can ask. And the most important thing, get it right. If it's behind the pole, it's gone. If it goes in front, it's foul. It goes in front, and it's foul, but not by much. So it pains you to say it. The umpire got the call right, and give Jerry Davis a whole lot of credit.
I'd rather have the home run.
I would too. You kidding me? So the count moves to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Augie just missed a 2-run home run. And no real argument by the Cubs, but you just want to go out and make sure. Tip of the cap to the umpire. Handle that situation properly. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch. Strike 3. Kind of sums up the way things have gone today. An amazing turnaround. Nearly a 2-run homer, a foul ball, then a called 3rd strike. But still, Cubs get a pair in the 5th and are within 3. Longest homestand of the year coming up for the Cubs starting Tuesday night. And here is part of it, our Pepsi AC chewable schedule. 3 with the Astros, including night games Tuesday and Wednesday. Then the Arizona Diamondbacks come to town over the weekend. It'll be great to see Mark Grace. Bob Brenly, the new skipper of the Diamondbacks, and of course our buddy Tom Brenneman with the Arizona Ball Club. Todd Van Poppel takes over for Kerry Wood. Ricky Gutierrez takes over at shortstop on the double switch. And Kerry Wood, another scratch-your-head kind of outing. 4 innings, 7 runs, 5 hits, 7 strikeouts, 7 walks, 2 home runs. With Cubs have life, it's a 7-4 game now. We're only in the 5th with Langford, Matheny, and then the pitcher spot due for St. Louis. Swing and a miss by Ray Langford. Langford struck out and walked. A big swing game for both of these ball clubs. Cardinals getting ready to go on the road for their longest road trip of the year. The Cubs getting ready to go home for their longest homestand of the year.
Boy, how big was that Augie Ojeda?
Oh, man.
How big would it have been? That was just a couple of more inches.
But Jerry Davis, one of the best in the business, made the call, knew that it was a close call, and then asked for some help. And the other set of eyes helped him make the proper call. 2-2. Little roller on the right side. That should be easy. And Stairs wins the race to the bag, and there's out number 1. 1 out, base is empty for Mike Matheny before he bats. Let's step aside and tell you what's coming up later on WGN.
Day at 5 Eastern on WGN Superstation.
Mike Matheny has walked twice, scored once, driven in a run. And Van Poppel misses with the ball high. Tony La Russa ought to know Van Poppel pretty well. He was in Oakland when Van Poppel was a very high draft choice of the Oakland A's organization. In fact, that was an interesting draft because Van Poppel told the Atlanta Braves, who I think were picking first that year, not to take it. Atlanta was starting to rebuild their organization. Van Poppel said, I don't want to pitch there. So the Braves said, okay. They took Chipper Jones instead. That ball driven towards center field, but that's Death Valley. 2 down. Matheny gave the ball a ride, but he's retired for the first time.
You know, that's one thing that I totally disagree with. When you get a chance to possibly play in the big leagues and you're going to be the #1 pick, you know, I have a very, I mean, it's tough for an athlete to say, well, I don't want to play here. How about I'm just happy to play anywhere? You get that chance that someone drafts you, go out there and make a name for yourself and help your team become a world championship ball club.
But things worked out well for Atlanta. It's worked out well for Van Poppel after a long winding road. He's become a mainstay in the Cub bullpen. And of course, Chipper Jones has a World Series ring with the Atlanta Braves. Here's Sutton. He might be on the hot seat when McGwire comes back. Cardinals will have a roster move to make. But everybody keeps saying they don't expect Mark McGwire back for at least a couple more weeks, sometime in the month of June. Tony La Russa has gone on record as saying, look, if we could just keep our heads above water until he comes back, we'll be okay. You're doing more than that. This is a good offensive ball club, even without McGwire.
Well, they're pushing everybody down up under them, as you see Big Mac. Sunglasses and all, and it's got to be tough. I mean, you look at the injuries he has had, and it's taken him a long time to come back. The knee, the foot. I mean, he's sitting on number 555 and, you know, 200 away from Henry Aaron. There you see Big Mac. Tell you what, the shades get cooler and cooler.
Are those the spectating Oakleys, or are those the playing Oakleys? I don't think I've seen a guy wear those.
No, they're not the playing Oakleys. No, you don't play in those. Those are definitely the Oakleys.
Well, the big dog Arnie Harris would like to wear a pair of shades like that, wouldn't he?
Hey, Arnie can wear whatever he wants to wear.
Larry Sutton cranks that ball right center field, pretty deep. Nobody's going to get that. A pinch hit home run for Larry Sutton. Even the guys off the bench pound us. Oh, the left-handed bats these Cardinals have are just devastating. Just when you think the Cubs trying to steal the momentum, the Cardinals smack it right back at us.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, Chip. We go out there, we score 2 runs, and then we come back and immediately give it up. And that's the forte the Cubs have been having. When the opposition would score a couple of runs, the Cubs would come back and take away the momentum. Now the Cardinals, you inch back to 7-4, and now Larry Sutton off the bench. See you later.
7 Cardinal homers in the series. And Sutton, the former Kansas City Royal, makes it a 4-run game again, and back to the top we go in Fernando Vina. We can't get out of town fast enough. These guys are they're playing too well. They're just while their first baseman hit 30 home runs or more, Paquette gets big hits against us. Sutton gets big hits. And you know what McGwire's going to do?
Must be something in the water here.
Goodness gracious. 1 ball, 1 strike to Fernando Vina. Montreal laying it on the Rockies today. Colorado, we feel your pain. It's 7-0, but it's only the 3rd at Coors Field. Pedro Estacio pitching for the Rockies today. That's kind of surprising if the score is that lopsided. Cardinals are the hottest team in baseball. They've won 6 straight. And they'll be tested when they hit the road. They open up a big trip as that ball bounces in the dirt. And it's so wild it works out well. Vigna strikes out but reaches on the wild pitch. How do you think these left-handed hitters for the Cardinals are going to like Pittsburgh's new ballpark? That's where they head next.
Are you kidding me? There'll be a few balls out in the Allegheny River.
I don't know which one it is.
It is the Allegheny. I tell you what, I wish these cars were in Pittsburgh right about now.
No kid. So strikeout, wild pitch brings up Polanco. Nothing happening on the pitch out. 8-4 St. Louis. Cardinals 8 runs on only 6 hits. They've received 7 walks. A wild pitch.
Got him.
Vigna picked off. And Papa with an excellent move. He races Vigna. Cardinals get 4 outs in the 5th. They also get a home run off Larry Sutton in a pinch. It's 8-4 heading to the 6th.
Hola, yo soy Sammy Sosa. En este día especial para el Día de la Madre, un saludo a todas esas madres bellas que están ahí y me siento contentísimo porque es el día más bello del mundo. Felicidades una vez más, Día de la Madre. Bye.
He did say Happy Mother's Day.
With your outstanding command of Spanish, I'm sure you understood every word that Sammy said.
I understood the Hola Sammy Sosa.
I got the bye part. That was pretty good. Mike Timlin pitching for the 2nd time in the series. He'll face Gutierrez, Young, and Joe Girardi. The Cubs down 8-4. We're in the 6th, and we want to thank our AD, Lisa Campbell, doing a great job for us. Her mom Sharon watching the game in Racine, Wisconsin. Hope she's enjoying a very happy Mother's Day. She's been thinking of you today, and we appreciate her effort. She's done a very nice job for us this weekend.
And
here
she
in St.
says
Louis.
she hates that she's not there with her mom, so we'll pass that on. Well, I guess while we're doing it, I want to wish my mom a very happy Mother's Day. My mother-in-law, Kansas City, Barbara Tench, my mother in Oklahoma City, my lovely wife, Diana. So I'll be home shortly.
I'd wish happy Mother's Day to my mom and my wife, but they're at the game and they can't hear it. So. But my mother-in-law, Ann Irely, is watching down in Orlando.
Now, let's go out there and get about 6 runs right here. Huh?
I'm all for it. Here's Ricky batting for the first time today. Cubs need base runners. Now, Joe, you know, I've been hanging around Arnie Harris now for 4 years, and Arnie taught me well. This is my wife's gift for Mother's Day. Don't you think that's outstanding? Don't you? That means
you know what?
Blue is her.
It's a special, one-of-a-kind gift, right?
That's right. There's only one so far. Yes, Addison, the Beanie Baby. There it is. Here, let me hold it over the guide wire there. It's even got the little baseball right there. And Sunday, May 20th, Addison, the Beanie Baby, makes his or her debut. I'm not quite sure of the gender of the Beanie Bear, but it probably doesn't matter. Wow, it's a moving Beanie Baby. Timlin does his job. Good feed. Does the hop, skip, and a jump over the bag. Vigna throws him out. And Ricky is retired for out number 1. But yes, indeed, Addison the Beanie Baby will be presented. And our good friends at Pepsi, I believe, are partly responsible for that wonderful promotion. Beanie Baby days always sell out. This one should be no different. And a special treat as the Cubs will face the Arizona Diamondbacks. Rumor has it that might be Randy Johnson's day to pitch. So another extra added incentive to come out to the ballpark. 1 up, 1 down in the 6th for Eric Young. Cubs down 8-4, each team with 6 hits. Almost hit him, ball 2. 2-0 your count.
Well, right now the Cubs need base runners, and EY doing the good job and working the count. At least today, we've seen more patience with these Cubs hitters, where they really haven't, no double play balls. They really haven't been getting themselves out. But it's just that you cannot stop this Cardinal offense. Wow.
Yeah, they're They're tough. They really are tough. 3 balls, no strikes. Taking all the way, as you'd expect. It's 3-1. Two. White Sox beating Texas 6-3. They head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Seattle has subdued Toronto again. Boy, that Mariner team is amazing. Seattle now 28-9. They've won 5 in a row. Their lead over Anaheim is only 11 games. Ichiro had another base hit. A 19-game hitting streak, we believe. They already had a 15-game hit streak this season for the Seattle Mariner Ball Club.
Well, Seattle loves playing in domes as they own the Toronto Blue Jays in Sky Dome. I mean, you would think it was their home ballpark.
Moyer and Loaiza were the starters in that game north of the border. Mariners, I don't think anybody's going to catch them. You talk about a ball club that's undergone a radical transformation. Seattle certainly is that. Everybody talks about who they've lost in A-Rod, Randy Johnson, and Ken Griffey Jr., but people forget they got some pretty good players back as well.
Well, they did. You bring in a Freddie Garcia, a Carlos Guillen. I mean, Palama, Mike Cameron.
Sure.
I mean, those guys are quietly becoming one of the better teams in all of baseball.
Nice rally by Timlin. He strikes out Eric Young. 2 outs in the 6th. But maybe the most important acquisition for the Mariners was Safeco Field, because all those fly balls that were home runs or doubles ricocheting off the scoreboard at the Kingdome have become outs, and it's made that pitching staff even more effective.
Right. Pitchers hated the Kingdome, and that's why they had such bad pitching staffs there, because they always thought about it. They go over to Safeco Field, and all of a sudden they're like, we can throw the ball down the middle of the plate. They can hit it 350 feet, and it won't be out of the ballpark. So now the whole mentality of the game has changed for that pitching staff.
Anaheim kept pace today. They thumped the Tigers 14-2 today. Minnesota's beating Kansas City 5-3. That one in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Kansas City made some news today. They fired their pitching coach.
Well, the way that ball club is going, Tony Muser has to be on the hot seat also. High expectations this year from Kansas City.
Well, Allard Baird keeps saying that Tony Muser is his man. They have suffered through an awful lot of injuries, and boy,
things change.
Yeah, Johnny Damon, certainly they miss him, and Roberto Hernandez has been a disaster in that bullpen. I mean, he got off to a terrible start for them, and that was what many people felt was the missing piece for that Kansas City ball club. They needed a guy at the end with that young starting pitching. Well, Hernandez got clobbered.
They need the guy at the end, but also they didn't really have the pitching that they really thought they had. With Rosado going down for most of the year, the left-hander, I mean, that was one of the mainstays in their rotation. But right now, they're on a hard time. Joe Randa has not been hitting as well as he could have. Mike Sweeney has now rebounded back, but when you have expectations, when you're supposed to win, it's a lot tougher to sneak up on teams.
Brent Strom, who was in his 2nd season as the Royal pitching coach, was let go today. Remember, they signed Doug Henry and traded for Roberto Hernandez, but their bullpen worst in the American League. And Tony Muser quoted saying today it was a lack of results, high walks, high home run ratios, especially late. But it didn't lead to results, and that's ultimately what counts. Girardi is going to ground out short. The Cubs are retired in inning number 6. 8-4, St. Louis the lead on Mother's Day Sunday. Your score. We head to the home half of our 6th inning, and our email is up and running today. If you'd like to reach Joe and me, CubsTV@chicagosports.com. The email address. Placido Polanco goes to work for the Cardinals. He'll try to get in on the hit parade. He's yet to get the ball out of the infield today. He's 0 for 3. Again, Polanco playing for Edgar Renteria, who's Due back just about any time now from a sore quadriceps muscle. And Polanco is 0 for 4. One out for Jim Edmonds. Big news out of Cleveland today. The Devil Rays beat the Indians finally. 7-0 was the final score. The Indians heralded rookie Dennis Baez, the Cuban defector, made his major league debut today. Signed him, of course, to a $14.5 million contract a couple of years ago.
You know, I start to wonder, when is Cuba just going to let all these guys come on over here anyway? They're going to wind up over here anyway.
Ain't going to happen, pal. Edmonds looks upstairs at a ball. There's an awful lot of talent baseball-wise. You think of some of the great players, Tony Perez, for example, a native of the island of Cuba.
Rafael Palmeiro.
But the political situation there, quite obviously, is a huge detriment.
Castro seemed like he's been in power for the last 90 years.
He's been around a long time. But it would not surprise me that if someday you could see more international teams. The one in Toronto relatively healthy, the one in Montreal not healthy at all. But with a population base of 10-15 million people, Mexico City perhaps. Edmonds, another walk. That's been the story of the game today. First time he's been passed.
Well, if you go back and look at all the damage, it's come from a 3, 4, 5, and 6 hole.
We told you
for these Cardinals. That's right in the middle.
That's where they do it.
And they have not let this lineup down.
And this guy is everything as advertised. Albert Pujols can just mash the baseball. A towering home run last night that reached the second deck just to the left of the Bud Light sign in left center field. I mean, that's a long, long way. And he would have been flirting with Big Mac land had he been able to pull the ball down the line.
You know what? I go back to 1994, and a rookie, Carlos Delgado, came up in Toronto Blue Jay farm system. First month of the season, hit 8 home runs. I mean, some mammoth blasts. And everyone says the next coming to Babe Ruth, really. And all of a sudden, they learned how to pitch to him with the breaking ball. And this was within the first month of the season. Albert Pujols, May 13th, no one knows how to pitch to him because there's not one single weakness that he has. He lays off that fastball right there. He hits a ball down the right field line. You throw him a slider, he'll pull it, or he'll hit it the opposite field. The fastball, you can't get in on him. He takes his walks. I mean, you're amazed at a young guy who doesn't have any weaknesses right now.
Yeah, this guy is certainly the exception to the rule as far as experience is concerned. And that's why those who see Pujols and want to immediately say to the Cubs, well, why don't they just bring Corey Patterson up and let him play?
It's a different.
Everybody's different. His baseball IQ, his maturity in life is maybe completely and totally different. He may be able to handle success or failure much more effectively than someone else. So you just don't know. You can't just make a blanket statement that because one player does it well for one team in one situation that another player would do it for another set of circumstances.
And talking to Albert, you see the joy he has when he plays this ball game. And that's what you miss. That's what you have to have. And that's what you want to see in young ball players who are willing to learn, to talk to the veteran hitters and accept coaching techniques from the coaches. So he's a teachable young man, and he is a very good ball player.
And a very good eye. 3 balls, 2 strikes. He's only 21. And if he continues to play like this for 10 or 15 years, it's not going to be a whole lot of fun to face these Cardinals because he can really hit the baseball. And I haven't seen him make a bad play at third base in this series either.
He's done everything you've asked of him.
Runner goes, 3-2 pitch, ball 4, 2 straight walks.
And there you see the great eye he has at the plate. And you don't see that in a young hitter, but you see it in Albert Pujols.
Well, 136 at bats Pujols has walked twice today, 15 times on the year, and he's only struck out 23 times. And Walt Jocketty knew what he was doing when he traded Tatis for Klein, a valuable left-hander, and Dustin Hermanson, the starting pitcher.
Well, we talked earlier about Carlos Delgado, and I had a chance to talk with Carlos a couple days ago, and I told him it was a bad week for me. Sammy passes me, and then he passed me in the home run lead over in Toronto with 204. And I asked him what was happening. What's going on? He said, Joe, let me tell you something. Those home runs that you have, now that you're retired, they don't draw interest.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
So it was well spoken.
Van Poppel goes an inning and a third. He'll depart having surrendered 1 run, 2 walks, strikeout, 1 hit. And it appears Felix Heredia will stride in and try to settle down J.D. Drew and Bobby Bonilla. It's an 8-4 game. We're in the Cardinals' half of the 6th inning. This Mother's Day Sunday crowd has been quieted first by the quick Cubs start, then by the St. Louis offensive onslaught in the 4-run second and then the 3-run third. So Heredia slowly makes the trot in. And let's see if he can mow down this Cardinal middle of the order. Cardinals looking to leapfrog past the Cubs in the National League Central Division. And boy, the way this division's bumped up from 1st to 5th is only 3.5 games. You have a bad week, you can fall from the penthouse to the outhouse pretty fast.
And that is the danger when you're playing in your division and you start to lose. Everybody catches up very quickly. There's also an advantage if you can win like the Cardinals are doing. They can leapfrog a couple of teams, and they have done just that. So that's why this division rivalry is going to be even that much more spectacular, because you're going to see it change from day to day to day.
8-4 St. Louis. Cubs will have the heart of the order coming up in the 7th inning. Coomer, Sosa, and Rondell White. So Felix has to hold him here. And that tells the story. Happy Mother's Day to one and all. And the Cardinals looking to defend the Central Division title, trying to extend our misery in this ballpark to 10 consecutive games without a win. So here's Heredia ready to go against J.D. Drew, who's walked, homered, and reached on a forced play. He's scored twice and driven home 2. Had enough of this guy. He kills us. 3 home runs in as many games. Everybody wanted to get wrapped up in the big contract with J.D. Drew. A lot of people have overlooked the fact that he can play. And he can play very well. 2 on, 1 out.
Oh, when you demand those kind of numbers, you'd best be able to put some numbers up.
Stop bragging if you can back it up.
There you go.
That ball corked into center field, but playable for Matthews. He's got it. And there's out number 2. Drew pops out. Cub fan watching on the satellite, Rob Wall thought that the Cubs might have a protest of this ball game. They were looking at the replay. He thought that the ball trickled out of Bill Miller's glove on that Bobby Bonilla pop-up. If that's the case, Bonilla would still be able to bat. The rule book is very clear that for an out to be recorded, the player has to be in the act of completing the play, which is taking the ball physically with his throwing hand out of the glove for the out to be complete. So if Miller never reached in and the ball rolled out, then it's no play, and therefore no grounds for protest. But I don't think the umpires even saw it, and we weren't even sure, in fact, if he caught the baseball. So.
Well, I could see he had the baseball, but it did come out, and if you do not show it to the umpire that you have control of it, then it is not an out.
A fly hit by Bonilla into center, and Heredia does the job. 2 flyouts to center pasture, subdues St. Louis. We go to the 7th inning. Let's get some runs. Middle of the order is coming up in a 4-run Cardinal game. 8-4 is your score. Let's go back and revisit the Bill Miller play. Did he A, catch the ball off the bat of Bobby Bonilla? Yeah, he caught it there and it pops out. See, it's a no play. It's a foul ball. Miller had it, never really had control of it when he slammed into the fence, and even if he did catch it, the rule book states you have to take the ball out of your glove. Or in the umpire's judgment, if you hang on to it long enough.
Right, exactly. And one of the reasons why it came out, you saw that he did have it for just a quick second, but once the pain, when your mind says there's something wrong with your knee, the pain, then Bill Miller was not able to keep his hand closed. You watch it, he has it right there, and as he hits the wall, then he reaches to really think about the pain, and the ball comes right out.
So again, no word on Miller's condition. Hopefully we'll have it before we leave air today, as Coomer, who took over for him, takes a strike from Timlin. Randy Johnson pitching for Arizona today. They're hosting the Philadelphia Phillies. Randy, of course, struck out 20 in his last start. He needs 14 today if he's going to tie Kerry Wood for the most strikeouts in a 2-game stint. Kerry had 34 in 2 games for the Cubs back in 1998. And he's off to a good start. He punched out 2 in the first against the Phillies this afternoon. One ball, 1 strike to Coomer. And a line drive into right field for a base hit. So a good start for the Cubs. 7th. Coomer's aboard for Sosa.
Well, we know that Mike Timlin has problems when the guys get on base. Only is hitting over 300 against Mike Timlin, and this is the chance with the Sammy Sosa to come up here with 1 on. Just get this Cub team back with some momentum back in this ball game.
Well, facing that Philadelphia team, Randy Johnson might strike out 25 today. Those guys swing and miss a lot. Sosa, strike 1.
We saw early in the year Pat Burrell and Travis Lee going down swinging quite a bit with strikeouts, but that was about a month ago.
0-1 to Sosa. Quickly 2 strikes. You like to predict when Sammy will hit his 400th home run? Log on to chicagosports.com. See against which team and which pitcher Sosa will make history. Sammy's sitting on 398.
Guys,
one away from Al Kaline.
Guys are making it tough. Which team and which pitcher?
0-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Back to first is Ron Coomer. Just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yesterday the Cardinals tried to give us the game. They left more men stranded than the skipper of the SS Minnow. They had 13 left on base through 7 yesterday. That was a 1-run game. They busted it open with 2 home runs in the 8th. Here they've built an 8-4 lead, but the Cubs coming right back. Sosa off the end of his bat. Edmonds playing shallow helps him for out number 1.
Well, Timlin did not want to come inside to Sammy. Stayed aware. He's breaking stuff. Even though his best pitch is his sinker, He did not want to test the waters with Sammy low and in, so he goes away with the breaking ball and Sammy out in front.
So here's Rondell White, 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored today. The Cub offense has provided 4 runs. That's the good news. Bad news is it was another subpar start for the starting pitchers. Kerry Wood gave up 7. In fact, in this 7-game road trip, Cub starters have gone 37 innings and have given up 33 earned runs. Little double play ball perhaps. Vina tags, throws low, scooped, not in time.
Boy, it seems like Fernando Vina is always caught in these predicaments here. A slow roller by Rondell White, and you know, as a base runner, you say don't let the second baseman tag you. But once he decides to tag you, he is fair game. And he comes in, and Coomer's going back, trying to retreat.
Hey, a little bit of Albert Bell there. Did you see that? Got his arms up. Remember, it was Vina who took the punishment from Big Albert when Bell was still with the Indians. So Timlin goes an inning and 2/3. The Cardinals are going to double switch apparently here. And Klein will come in and try to retire Matt Stairs here. Stairs with a single, a 2-run homer, and a walk to his tally today. And with the Cardinals leading 8-4 with 2 outs. The Cardinals know the importance of getting Matt Stairs here. Apparently Craig Paquette's going to come in to play first base. In comes Klein. We'll pause as the Cardinal left-handed reliever gets loosened up.
This is Billy Williams wishing Shirley Ann Williams, the mother of our 4 daughters, happy Mother's Day.
Atta baby Billy. Boy, Shirley's a lovely lady. And Billy's a lucky man. She's outstanding. Happy Mother's Day to her and the entire Williams family. Double switch, Craig Paquette. He's in to play first base, and Steve Klein, the former Expo, is on for St. Louis. Cardinals have a very deep, very experienced bullpen. And left-handers are worth their weight in gold. And they've got 2 good ones in Klein and Jason Christensen down there.
Well, one of the strong points of a Tony La Russa coach ball club is the bullpen and the way he manages again with those guys out there, putting the guys in the right situations he feels they can succeed. And it's very good when you can go left, right, like he is accustomed to doing.
And it looks like Matt Stairs is starting to rise to the challenge, is he not? Don Baylor has laid down the gauntlet for his center fielder, his catcher, and his first baseman. Look, whoever hits is going to play. Stairs has been hitting the last couple of days very well.
Well, it's that comfort zone you're in, and he's already had a month to adjust to the National League pitching. But the main thing is getting consistent at-bats every single day. When you're playing 2 or 3 times a week, you can't gain that consistency. You don't feel comfortable at the plate because you know that you're not going to be playing the very next day. So when you say you're going to play for 7 or 8 games in a row, you know if you got about 30, 32 plate appearances where you can do some damage.
Ball 2 slides outside. Gary Matthews Jr. is waiting on deck.
We could creep oh so closer. The big blast here.
Just missed. Klein didn't get it. 3 balls and a strike. Cardinal bullpen getting busy again. A right-hander is up. Stairs launches that out of play. Gene Steckschulte is up. Cardinals maintaining a 4-run lead. Cubs have Hundley, Zuleta, and Buford left on the bench. Playing a man short as Bill Miller injured his knee early. 3-2 with 2 out. Stairs hanging in there. Todd Hundley not in the starting lineup today. He's been hampered with a sore back, back spasms, as a matter of fact. And, talking with Don Baylor before the game, said he wasn't sure if Todd would be able to even pinch hit today. Stairs, did he go? Nope. Cardinals thought he did. Klein can't believe it, and he barks at Mark Carlson. And now the Cubs have 2 on with 2 out. This was close.
Well, Steve Klein thought that Tim Tachita had really called strike 3 on him, but all Tim was doing was asking Mark Carlson, did he go or not? And Klein was already out the mound and headed towards the dugout. But a good at bat by Matt Stairs, and well, this is where the Cubs, if they can put together a 2-out rally here. 2-3 base hits, and they're right back in this ball game.
Ball went inside to Gary Matthews Jr. Gary 2 for 2. Hasn't gotten a ball out of the infield yet, but he's been very effective. An infield hit in the first, a bunt single in the 5th.
Well, now you got the infield drawn in because of those two infield hits. I'm thinking infield hit. Now you go deep.
Up the middle. Pena hadn't played perfectly. The flip to second retires the Cubs. No runs. 1 hit. 2 more left. Cubs have stranded 10 today. Time to stretch in St. Louis. The Redbirds unfortunately lead at 5-4. Hey, Santa Claus is here on Mother's Day. All right, Santa Claus wearing a black Cubby hat. How about that?
Oh, I thought the C stood for Claus.
Well, I think Santa, maybe he's trying to be impartial. He normally wears red. That's not a bad idea. Here's Ray Langford, ready to go after the 7th inning stretch. It's 8-4 St. Louis. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bonus panels in New York. The Orioles 5, Yankees 5. Baltimore with a big offensive output today. That's a team that's struggling to score runs. That's a rebuilding project underway at Camden Yards.
Well, the Yankees came back with 2 in the 9th to tie it up, so the Orioles giving it up in the last half of the game. Now they're in extra innings.
Boy, we know from the last couple of years, there's nothing more agonizing than a loss like that. It's just, you battle so hard, and then all of a sudden, boom, game's over in a team's last at bat. It really is devastating. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And then from the other side, it's an uplifting experience.
Oh, sure.
Where it gets the teams like, hey, we can come back from anything.
By the way, we told you that Colorado game, Montreal led it 7-0. Then they led it 9-0. Colorado came back with 6 in the 4th.
And this is in Coors Field, right?
Yeah.
Big point there.
Long way to go in that ball game. I don't know. It really does make you wonder how Don Baylor did it for all those years in Colorado. Buddy Bell, talking to us when we were out there, our one and only trip, said as much. Every game, you're just thinking how you get outs. You're praying your starter can give you 5. And then you start thinking, okay, how will I get 12 more outs?
Well, I'm surprised he doesn't have a chart in the dugout with 27 marked on there. 27
just
outs,
yeah.
26, 25.
Man. Felix takes care of Langford. Second time Ray has struck out today. He's hitless in the series. At least we've handled one of their left-handed bats. Langford's 0 for 9.
Well, he's been the only guy the Cubs have handled as far as in the middle of that lineup. Boy, oh boy, a lot of filled-in spaces when you get to that 3, 4, 5, and 6 hole.
Mike Matheny, the critical play in the game, the strike that wasn't a strike. To umpire Tim Sheeta, Kerry Wood went nuts and forced in a run, cut the Cub lead to 2-1. Then after Andy Bennett struck out, Fernando Vina hit a ball over the STL on his batting helmet down the right field line for a bases clearing triple, and that was that. Cubs unraveled after that. Two balls, no strikes to Mike Matheny. He's 0 for 5 in the series, but as we mentioned, does have the RBI. Off day tomorrow. And, Don Baylor and I will be hosting our golf tournament tomorrow at Cantini Golf Club. And looking forward to that. Appreciate all the players who are going to support us. All the fine sponsors. Harry Carey's Restaurant in Chicago, most generous with their donation. Chef Hans, Carlucci Entertainment, Smith & Walensky, Anheuser-Busch, Pepsi, Southwest Airlines has been magnificent to us. The good folks at Gibson Guitars, Don Pitts, and Jeff Ivester with a great deal of help for the golf tournament. And it all benefits cystic fibrosis. And delighted to be a very small part of it. And hopefully we can find a way to cure that terrible disease. And for all of you who are coming out to meet us tomorrow, we're going to have a great time. So looking forward to a nice off day in Chicago tomorrow. Here's Paquette.
Mike Matheny draws his third base on ball.
And 10 by the Cub pitchers today.
Wow. That will drive a pitching coach crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what. Tim Sheeta's strike zone, really the strike zone of this whole crew, I think everybody would agree, has either been a flip of the coin or very small. A little ground ball up the middle. Can anybody get it? Nope, it's off Ricky's glove and into center field. Around second, heading to third is Matheny. First and third for the Cardinals, and Paquette continues to torment the Cubs.
Well, at least one thing, this wasn't a home run. It's like all the hits he get against us. It's a home run here, but here a high chopper, and Ricky Gutierrez just can't quite knock it down, but able to get a glove on it, and that was really slowed it down. That allowed Mike Matheny to go from first to third. And here comes Fernando Vina with men in scoring position and only one out.
Cubs have walked 21 Cardinals in this series. And while the walks themselves may not result in runs, what it does result in is a constant turning over of the lineup. And these Cardinal sluggers have been like the odometer on a long trip. Keep turning it around and around and around and around, and they're always up with a man on base.
Well, that means you face Edmonds and Pujols and Drew, one more time through the order. Instead of 4 at-bats, you give them 5 at-bats. And you give these guys 5 at-bats, they're going to walk away with some damage.
As we told you, the Cubs with only 3 1-2-3 innings this series. And that, of course, goes hand in hand. But that's really amazing. 21 walks and 3 1-2-3 innings in. 24 pitched.
Well, it's all about patience. And these Cardinal hitters, they put the ball in play, but they will take their walks.
Little ground ball right side. Young dives, can't get that. A run is in. Matheny scores. Paquette around to third. Cardinals keep playing the game. A 4 RBI day for Fernando Vina. They just keep finding holes. And Vina might have hurt himself.
Well, Fernando Vina, as he rounds first base, had ideas of going to second, put the brakes on, and it looked like his knee just buckled a little bit.
Effort by Young, couldn't come up with it. And Vina trying to jog it off. Barry Weinberg, the trainer of the Cardinals, as well as the manager Tony La Russa, says he's okay. He'll stay in the game. 9-4 St. Louis. No mas. Here's Polanco. First, we'll pause for station identification.
This is WGN, entertaining America.
First and third for the Cardinals. Placido Polanco tries to get in on the fun. Only 2 spots in the 3 spots in the Cardinal lineup haven't scored. Vigna, Polanco, and Ray Langford. Vigna, those driven in 4. So you can excuse him. That one dumped into center field for a hit. 10-4. And Felix is going to have to take one for the team right here, folks. His bullpen has been used an awful lot. Renee Latchman wearing out the phone lines to the Cub bullpen. 2 on, 1 out. Here's Edmonds. Games like this, you just gotta sit back and take it. Take your punishment. Hope we can get this horrible virus out of our system.
You take your punishment and you learn from it. Right now, the Cardinals, what they're doing, they're putting together these rallies, getting the base hits, hitting the ball where it's pitched, first and second, first and third, getting the run-ins from third base. They're putting on a clinic as far as hitting is concerned.
Edmonds. A strike. I think it was Branch Rickey or some other great baseball mind who really put the game in perspective. There's only one play as a hitter that can have absolutely no positive impact on the game. That's a strikeout. Because if you put the ball in play, you can reach with an error, a wild throw, you can get a base hit, you can drive in a run. So if you can just make contact, the odds are overwhelmingly in your favor that something could happen. Well, if you swing and miss, all you do is take a right turn.
Unless it's a strikeout in a wild pitch.
Exactly. But the chance of that happening is very small, although we've had it happen twice on this road trip.
Exactly.
But premium is put the ball in play. Make contact.
Contact.
And while these Cardinals have struck out 10 times today, or 9 times today, I beg your pardon, they have really run us ragged.
Well, you think Jim Edmonds didn't see home run light up, his eyes light up on that pitch as he was swinging for the fences here. Slider.
Now with the luxury of a 6-run lead late, all bets are off. You can bail and wail. So
and that's what he was trying to do, was bail and wail.
Here's Pujols. We're going to have to face this guy again, aren't we?
Well, he's been up 4 times, and he's been on base 4 times.
He's walked 3 times. He picked up his 49th hit. He missed the Cardinals' 36th game. By the way, Randy Johnson, 4 strikeouts through 2 for Arizona. He needs 10 the rest of the way to match Kerry Wood's strikeout record of 34 in 2 starts.
Well, now, if it doesn't go, if it goes more than 9 innings, will it count if he happens to do it?
Yeah, if the game goes 8.5, it can't count, right? 1 ball, no strikes. Big swing and a miss by Pujols. Want to thank our crew here in St. Louis for a great job well done. Our senior producer director today in his 38th season, but in dog years that's about 5. Here's Arnie Harris. He'd like to wish his lovely wife Arlene a happy Mother's Day. Cubs baseball on WGN, produced by Pete Toma. Happy Mother's Day to his mom Rosalie in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Driven toward right center field. That's trouble.
Oh man. Oh my goodness. Whoa. That ball got out of here.
He's amazing. It's white towel time in St. Louis. The Cardinals bombs away again. Pujols, a line drive into their bullpen. 13 home runs, 42 driven in, and all that damage on only 50 hits this year.
Well, we talked about how do you pitch this young man. He takes you to right field, left field. He gets a slider down and in from Felix Heredia. And I didn't know if this ball was high enough, and this goes into the bullpen. Wow.
The ball was hit too hard to come down. He hit it a mile. And the big inning has killed the Cubs. They want a curtain call in St. Louis. Swing and a miss by J.D. Drew. 13-4. Our thanks to the rest of our crew. Mark Brady, our associate producer, hopes his mom Minnie's having a wonderful day. Our executive producer Bob Borwald, happy Mother's Day greetings to his mom and his lovely wife Kerry. Man, Cardinals have poured an avalanche of runs on the Cubs this weekend. The Cardinals walloping the Cubs today. As we go to the 8th inning, raucous Busch Stadium has erupted, and we'll send it back to WGN and tell you what's coming up later on tonight.
One lives in a world of corruption and crime. The other has sworn to bring him down. One problem. They're both cops. Richard Gere, Andy Garcia, Internal Affairs. Monday at 8 Eastern on WGN Superstation.
Gene Steckschulte on for mop-up duty for the Cardinals. And he'll face Buford for Heredia, Gutierrez, and then Eric Young. We said at the top of the show that this was a very, very important game for the Cubs. You've got Kerry Wood on the mound, pitching so well against Milwaukee, facing the Cardinals, trying to salvage 1 out of 3. And today the Cubs are totally self-destructive.
Well, they have, and it all started, it looked so promising. The Cubs jump out 2 runs in the first inning, go up 2-0, but it was short-lived as Bill Miller goes down with an injury. Kerry Wood could not find the plate, and all of a sudden it turned into an avalanche.
Felix did not enjoy his Mother's Day performance. An inning and 2/3. 5 runs, 4 hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. So Buford bats for him. And we're in the 8th inning. We're going to have to find out a way to beat these Cardinals. And we're going to have to find out a way to get out Albert Pujols. We are in some pretty good company in the rest of the National League. Nobody's figured this kid out yet.
And that's what makes them so tough. And with the media the way it is, every game is televised. You would think he would have some weaknesses, but they have yet to be exploited as Damon Buford goes down on strikes.
Let's just try to get out of town with our dignity intact. Here's Gutierrez. Ricky bounced out. He was the first man Mike Timlin faced. That was in the 6th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike to the Cubs shortstop. Foul back to the screen. 13-4. Man, oh man. Kevin Tampany will try to restore some order for the Cubs Tuesday night against Houston. High throw, but Ricky's retired for out number 2. Eric Young comes up. He's 0 for 4. 1 ball, no strikes. White Sox were winners today, 6-3 over Texas. White Sox trying to climb back toward respectability. They're now 14-21 on the year, just 7 games under. It's going to be a long, tough road for them, however, without Frank Thomas in the middle of that batting order. Seattle beat Toronto, as we told you. Anaheim thumped Detroit 14-2. Minnesota beats Kansas City 7-3. Baltimore got 5 in the top of the 10th to beat the Yankees 10-5. Tampa Bay shuts out Cleveland 7-zip. Boston in 10 innings beats Oakland 5-4. Florida got a run in San Diego 1-0. And A.J. Burnett, the wacky no-hitter yesterday, walked 9 men. But
got the job done.
Yeah, I think that's the 3rd no-hitter too for the Marlins. Line drive right field, base hit for Eric Young. He's 1 for 5. I think Al Leiter had 1, Kevin Brown had 1, and Burnett had 1. 9-6. Montreal leads Colorado after 5. Milwaukee beat the Pirates 4-1 today. Braves trail at Los Angeles 3-1. Atlanta's getting good news. John Smoltz is going to pitch for him Thursday, so he'll be back. Mets lead the Giants 2-1, and the Phillies lead Arizona 1-0. Again, Randy Johnson chasing down Kerry Wood's strikeout record for a 2-game stretch. He had 2 of them through 2 innings. Needed 14 at the start of today's play. Make that he had 4 strikeouts through 2 innings. So he needs 10 to equal Kerry's mark, and with that free swinging Philadelphia ball club, he might get it. Phillies are for real. They've gotten outstanding pitching, and a big key to their turnaround is the resurgence of Omar Dahl. Dahl, who lost 19 games last year, I don't think has been beaten yet this season. 8th inning is in the books for the Cubs. We go to the bottom half. All St. Louis again today, 13-4. Lovely lady on the right of your screen is my wife Susan. I want to wish her a happy Mother's Day. She's a great mom. 3 kids under 4, and she does a lot of it by herself with us traveling so much. And sitting to her right is my mom, Lila. So happy Mother's Day to the 2 of them, enjoying a Mother's Day Sunday in St. Louis. Thanks, Arnie. Appreciate that. Nice shot. 2 lovely ladies here in St. Louis. And friends, visit Galleons in Lombard and Schaumburg to enter the Swing Chicago Sweepstakes. It's presented by Galleons, Gatorade, and the Chicago Tribune. Throughout the year, 6 lucky contestants will have 3 chances to hit a home run out of Wrigley Field for $250,000. See your Chicagoland Galleons for more details and contest rules. Courtney Duncan is on for the Cubs. Boy, you talk about a guy that seized an opportunity and run with it like Walter Payton heading for the end zone. That's the guy. Courtney Duncan has been absolutely mesmerizing for the Cubs out of the pen.
He has done everything that Don Baylor and Oscar Acosta has asked of him. It was a tough decision to send him down, but then Mike Ferry with the freak injury, breaking his arm with a broken bat. Get Courtney back up here, so take advantage. He has definitely done that.
Here's Kerry Robinson. He'll come on to bat for Steckschulte here. Kerry Robinson, a young speedster. That's surprising. The Cardinals would come up with a young player who can run like the wind, huh?
Well, it seems something about St. Louis and guys with speed. Man, they can pick him up and put him down, and that's the way you play in the National League. You talk about speed.
It's that one in the air. Pretty deep. Boy, the ball really carrying toward right. And Kerry Robinson's retired. He must not be superstitious. Where's number 13? 1 away. I was wondering about that Yankee game. I wonder if that was Mariano Rivera. Pete Tomer, our producer, tells us that it was. He gave up 5 today.
Mariano Rivera? That is really unheard of.
as a strike.
I guess after all, Mariano Rivera, he can be human. And to get 1 or 2 runs off him, that's a treat.
Swing and a miss. Remember, this Cardinal team, Santoria's in the batter's box, playing without Edgar Renteria and Mark McGuire. So they're not even 100% yet.
They will make it very tough when those 2 guys come back off of the disabled list. No, but it's good to have guys come up and have success to fill in, because now you know what you have, and you know if these guys go down again, you can bring these same guys back up. I'll put them in there, put in a Craig Paquette, and they can do the job. So that strengthens your ball club.
Well, I would imagine that after this road trip with the day off tomorrow, it's going to be a busy day for Andy McPhail, Don Baylor, Jim Hendry. First of all, you have to find out the status of Bill Miller. Clearly, he's probably not going to be playing for the next couple of games. You hope that that's the extent of the injury to his knee. But this Cub ball club right now is giving away too many outs in too many different positions on the field. And you just wonder if maybe a change in the mix would somehow shake things up a little bit. I know that the debate in Chicago is very mixed on whether or not the combo you have working in center field is going to work. Don Baylor has said that he's got too many first basemen. Those play at first, but Santalia is retired. But for a ball club that played so well for the first 6 weeks of the season, you don't want to think, oh my gosh, we got to go ahead and panic and change everything up after a 2-4 road trip. But right now you're seeing a trend where the team just isn't hitting enough.
Well, the one key you said there is not to panic, and the Cubs can ill afford to go out there and panic. Right now there will be a half game out of first place, and like I say, it's May 13th.
Right.
So you try to look at that as a positive and not a negative. But what you're looking at, you had great pitching to start the season off. The hitting has not come around. Maybe besides 1 or 2 ball games, that's been it. But something, and like you say, has to be done, because they need to get more production out of more people in the lineup.
And I guess that is the greatest positive of all, is that for a team that has not clicked on all cylinders for a real long stretch like the Cardinals are in right now, Cubs are a half game out.
Well, that is the bottom line. It's wins and losses. Not how well you're hitting or how well you're pitching. As long as you score 1 more than the opposition.
And unfortunately, that hasn't happened a whole lot on this 6-game road trip. But nothing like a little home cooking. We won't have to hit the road again until May 28th. When we play in Cincinnati. The 1-2 pitch to Matheny, and he goes fishing, and Duncan another impressive innings worth of work here in the 8th inning. We go to the 9th inning. Can the Cubs rally? We'll find out next. (13-4). We go to the 9th inning. Couple of changes for the Cardinals. Kerry Robinson's in left. Luis Santaria is in center. And Mike James becomes the 5th Cardinal hurler of the afternoon. Chance for him to tune up with the off day tomorrow. And the Cardinals hit the road for 12. Cubs will head home for 12. And a chance to rediscover the batting stroke. But it looks like we're going to suffer through our 4th straight loss and a 2-5 road trip.
Well, unless we can put together a 10-run 9th here.
It could happen. He's still got to get 3 outs. And James, the man with the interesting facial whiskers. Dave Tumbas, a fine Cubs trainer, talking things over with Don Baylor, giving him, I'm sure, the update on his condition. It was a nasty collision. Boy, all of us holding our collective breath, hoping that Bill's going to be okay, because when he hit that sign, the lower leg stopped and the upper body didn't. And that's what has me a little bit worried here. A game like this, forget about the score and you put your thoughts and prayers in Miller's corner here. Here's Coomer. Ron 1 for 3. And James delivers a strike called, 0-1. Cubs led this game briefly, 2-0 after 1. Then the Cardinals erupted. 4 in the second, 3 in the third, 1 in the fifth, 5 in the seventh. And ever since we scored 20, we've stopped scoring.
Well, it seemed like we shot our wad in one big game.
Man. Cubs have scored 26 runs in 8 games since that Dodger defeat.
You know, but sometimes a day off will do the Cubs some good, and getting back to the friendly confines of Wrigley Field for a 12 game home series is going to be just what the doctor ordered.
Lima against Tapani. That's Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Chicago time. We'll have it for you here on the Cubs television network, WCIU in Chicago. Wednesday, Julian Tavares pitches. Then Thursday, Jason Bray. That also will be a WGN telecast. We'll have the Emmy award-winning leadoff man program beginning at 1 o'clock. Backing out a play off the bat of Ron Coomer. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Kyle and Morris, too much for the Cubs to handle in games 1 and 2. Darryl Kyle won his 5th. Matt Morris won his 5th. And today, Andy Bennis is going to win his 3rd. Coomer down on strikes. Nasty slider takes care of him. 1 away in the 9th. I don't think anybody would have thought that on May the 13th, Kerry Wood would be 1 and 4.
Well, it just goes to show you that anything that can happen in baseball, but Kerry Wood really fighting himself, not able to control the fastball, the breaking ball. He struggled at times and had not been getting any run support. And when you put those 2 elements together, it doesn't look very good.
He'll tee it up again against the Arizona Diamondbacks sometime next weekend. Haven't gotten the pitching pairings for that series yet. Sosa 0 for 2. He's walked a couple of times. Sammy 1 for 9 in the series, 5 for 23 on the road trip. And again, hasn't had many RBI chances, and the ones he has had have been taken away from him because teams content to walk him. Down goes Sosa.
Mike James, and this is an effective bullpen for the St. Louis Cardinals. Mike James, former Anaheim Angel, set up man.
Rondell White. Oh, it's no fun coming to this place and taking defeats like we've taken this weekend. Cardinal fans are reveling here on the St. Louis riverfront. Cubs have not won here since 1999.
That's the last century then.
In fact, will fall to 3-18 since the start of the 1998 season. That one driven to right center field pretty deep. That ball is going to ricochet off the wall. Rondell White with a 2-strike, 2-out double keeps the Cubs alive in the 9th inning. Santeria gave it pretty good effort, but couldn't come up with the play, and Rondell has his 8th double of the year.
Well, Mike James gets a sinker that comes back in the middle of the plate, and Rondell puts a charge into it. And the ball, I mean, there seems to be a wind tunnel out there in right center field as the ball continues to fly out that way. And that Stairs has benefited from that tunnel out there as he has hit his 2nd home run in as many days.
But he's going to ground out, and the Cardinals sweep the Cubs. We're 0-10 in St. Louis. And haven't won here since the 1999 season. 13-4 is the final score. The story really starts with the pitching. The Cubs only registering 4 1-2-3 innings against this Cardinal offensive attack. And the Redbirds have dethroned the Cubs in the Central Division standings. Cubs came into the series 2.5 games up. We head back to Chicago with the off day tomorrow, 1.5 game behind the Cardinals.
Well, the Cubs came in here flying high. They got the series off, started with a bang as Eric Young takes the first inning and hits a home run the very first game here. But after that, it was all downhill as Tony La Russa and the Cardinals just put a waxing on the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, it was a series where the Cardinals hit extremely well, pitched very, very well, especially their starters. Their bullpen never really came into play. And for the Cubs, it was an offensive and pitching, I don't want to use the word collapse, but starters didn't start or finish. Not much of an offensive attack. Nothing got sustained against St. Louis. You have to give the Cardinals credit for that. And boy, the big bats came to hunt this weekend series, and nobody's figured out how to handle Pujols, and he's a real good player.
Well, and the way we pitched him, they still haven't figured out how to pitch to him, because he has done his damage left field, right field, all over the park. He is a tremendous ball player, and like you say, you may as well just go ahead and give him the Rookie of the Year right now.
Cardinals are in first place. The Cubs head home after a 2-5 road trip, and they put a pasting on us this afternoon. 13-4 your final score. Back with more from Busch Stadium right after this. Well, we know of the Cubs' offensive problems, but in this series in St. Louis, it all came down to starting pitching. The Cubs turned in just 4 1-2-3 innings the entire weekend. Cubs pitching staff issued 21 walks and allowed 8 Cardinal home runs. And St. Louis waxes us by a 13-4 score and sweeps us out of St. Louis. Cubs now 0-10 at Busch Stadium the last couple of years. This was our bud play of the game, a strike that Tim Sheeta missed. Kerry Wood lost it. That forced in a run to make it a 2-1 game, and then Fernando Vina with a bill of the cap swing rifled a triple that cleared the bases, and the Cardinals never looked back. Your final line score: the Cardinals 13 runs, 10 hits, no errors. The Cubs 4 runs, 9 hits, no errors. Andy Bennis was the starter for St. Louis. He gave up 4 runs in 5 innings, but the Cardinal offense just pounded Kerry Wood. 7 runs. Todd Van Poppel gave up a run. Felix Heredia gave up 5 runs in an inning and 2/3. Matt Stairs hit the lone Cub home run today. He's swinging a hot bat all of a sudden, but Edmonds, Drew, Paquette, and Pujols put the capper on it as the Cardinals hit 8 home runs in the series, walked 21 times, and had only 4 1-2-3 innings in this series. The other big news of note: Bill Miller's status. Still no word on the Cub third baseman who banged his knee so horribly in that St. Louis second inning. 13-4, the Redbirds sweep the Cubs and take over first place in the National League Central Division. But despite that, we hope you and yours have had a very happy Mother's Day indeed. For Joe Carter and our entire crew, Chip Carey inviting you to stay tuned. The 10th inning show from Busch Stadium is coming up next.